is Law Nation. As the room fill up, we're going to talk about a few things. Shout out to Tony P. That's Tony Pollard, by the way. We're getting his coins. It's official. $10.1 million. He will receive that. He's in a different tax bracket. Let's get it, Cowboy Nation. As the room build up, be sure to smash, and I mean just that. Smash the like button, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Yup. Come on. Mama said there'll be days just like this. Don't let no one bully you into not liking what the Cowboys do, by the way. Come on. Like I said, as the room fill up, be sure, and I mean just that, smash upon the like button. Come on. Shout out to you and you. Come on, all of the notification squad. Swad all the way up. Come on. Almost there. You know I got to build the plane while it's in the air. You know how it goes, baby. Come on. Notification gang, SWAT, appreciate you and you. 5, 4, 3, 2. Come on. Ain't no party like a cowboy party. Halle. I see you. Shout out to your beast mode. Ken Owens, salute. Shout out to you, Peter. Appreciate all of you all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said.
Give me my theme music.
Me and these buttons, man. Y'all know how it go.
Damn.
So, with that being said, let's get right to the chase. First and foremost, shout out to Tony Pollard. He signed the deal far as the franchise tag, and now they can't rescind once he signed. The ink to paper seals the deal. And now we will be seeing him playing on that 1-year rental, and we're going to see if he can replicate what he did last year, and we want to see him perform outstanding. Now, what this do mean with the Tony Pollard situation and scenario, that next year around this time, we'll be talking about contract negotiation for the nation for Tony Pollard. If the Cowboys pretty much go ahead and work that deal out, I've seen it happen before. It was a guy by the name of Dez Bryant. You guys remember they put the franchise tag on him, and then they continued to work it out. And then I believe after the draft that year, they went on ahead and gave him his coins, his bag, his contract. And that was his final contract with the Cowboys, by the way. So I'm looking at it like this, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever the Cowboys do now during the offseason, I'm going to sit back and chill, because last year we was moving furniture around. We was kind of angry and upset at the small moves that they made, and all of their moves kind of worked a little bit for us. Fowler worked for us. Dorrance Armstrong deal worked for us. LVE coming back for cheap worked for us, right? On the defensive side of the coin, the Dalton Schultz was one of the things that we was looking back like, we could have did something differently, but truth be told, Jake Ferguson and Hendershot, who we scooped up after the draft, they pretty much filled in that voided area. And then, of course, we all knew of what Sean McEwen can do. McEwen can do. So it is what it is. Here's the thing. The Dallas Cowboys now are considered contenders, right? Not pretenders. And you got two options out there. D-Hop camp or the Cards literally looked back at this and said, you know what? we were asking too high. So we got to cut it, right? They was asking originally a first-round draft pick, and then it became a second-round draft pick. No one is biting. And what I was telling you guys, that every time you're on an open market, your tag or your price goes like this. Your tag and your price go like this. And it get lower and lower and lower and lower until it hit bottom. And now they're looking at it. And then when someone else gets signed, shout out to Brandin Cooks deal, kudos and credence to it. When someone else gets signed, then they say, you know what? If he got signed for a fifth and a sixth, we might as well put that out there for you, D-Hop. So now his situation and scenario, by him being out there on the market, right, or trading options for teams, they said, dog, instead of paying this dude $34 million against the cap, let's just see what we can do. Let's put fillers out there. Let's see if we can work out a situation and scenario for DeAndre Hopkins now. Y'all going to say, y'all said with me, because I know y'all going to say it. I'm waiting for somebody to say it in the chat. I'm surprised no one said it so far. You know, come on. Why none of y'all saying it? Y'all need to say it so I can go. Let me hear y'all say it. What's going on? Y'all wise, man. Y'all smart now. You guys are brilliant. You know, no, it's not Washington. I thought that somebody was going to put in the chat, we don't need a DeAndre Hopkins. We don't need. We got Brandin Cooks. We got Jalen Tolbert. We got Semi Fehoko on the bench. We got MG13. We got CeeDee Lamb. We don't need. I wanted somebody to say that, you know. Come on. I need to see somebody say we don't need. You know, Casey says law tripping, but I need for someone to say it, baby. You know, we don't need a DeAndre Hopkins, because here's the thing. Yes, my goodness, somebody finally done it. You know, somebody finally said it. And you know what? When you say those things, look, I know. I get it. But I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this from my Tupac voice. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you at all. I'm definitely. I ain't mad at you. Come on. I'm not mad at you. Because you know what I'm saying? We were once two fans of the same kind, quick to holler at a player with the same line. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I ain't mad at you at all. I'm definitely not mad at you. Because one thing I know for sure, two things for certain, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have the opportunity and not be prepared. So what happened week 3 or week 4, one of your wide receivers go down? You know, it's better to have the bullet in the chamber ready to be released. That's what I'm saying. Cover all trails, because with the 5th and the 6th round option, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole different situation and scenario, because I can tell y'all beautiful people that's watching right now that a player in the 5th or the 6th round, regardless of who they are or who they can become, they ain't no DeAndre Hopkins, right? So even if you're talking about an insurance plan policy, at the end of the day, this is war. This is feast or famine over here, and nobody care about the Cowboys' feelings. Did no one say, hey, we'll give the Cowboys week 1 10 points because they got to start Dennis Houston? Nobody said that, right? Did nobody care about us when Dak Prescott broke his thumb? Nobody care about that. They was literally saying, uh-oh, the Cowboys are an accident waiting to happen. They scoffed, they laughed at us, they ridiculed us, they made us feel embarrassed. Hey, they smeared our name, they called us all delusional. And go back and I said, baby, y'all just wait and see. Somehow we're going to get and stay on top of it. But then I had Pastor Simmons call into the show, right? And he said God had revealed to him that the Cowboys are going to win the next 4 or 5 games, right? Then I had Lady Trey to call into the show, and she said that, yeah, just wait, Law. Watch what we do. Watch how we turn a negative into a positive, baby. And then last year, even though the NFL were banking on us for falling flat on the face, they already had the tickers and everything ready to go to execute live on TV like pleasure and pain. We stuck in this game. Holler my name. We all gonna die. We bleed through similar veins. They wanted to cut and decapitate Mike McCarthy live on TV, right? But none of that stuff happened because Big Mike McCarthy was prepared for at least sliding in Cooper Rush, and we won 4 out of the 5 games, right? But you had to be prepared for the moment, even though we skated and leaned on the defensive side in the running game. But it was all up to the plan. And I'm telling you guys, they were willing to get rid of Mike McCarthy. Jason says, I appreciate y'all so much. So that's why I said I ain't mad at you, because I know for sure, right. Appreciate you so much. We'll be having a super chat right here. Yes, indeed. Shout out to you, Brandon. I can't not tell a lie. Laugh out loud. Appreciate you. And Jason says, we do need D-Hop and WAG. I don't care what anyone else say. All it takes is one hit and you lose out on one of those wide receivers, etc. Win now, worry later. Yes, indeed. And here's the cherry. Here's the cherry on the top of it, baby. Here's the cherry. You don't have to spend big money. We've seen how the Cowboys operate and maneuver the money around. Man, it's just like clockwork. They just coming in this thing, laying this thing up easily. This is one of those things whereas we can look back at and say, man, kudos and credence to the Jones family. Shout out to my dog, Boss Cowboy Sports. I mean, he drinking all of the Kool-Aid. That boy is greedy. He don't even want to share his cup. You know what I'm saying? That joker drinking all of the Kool-Aid over there with the Jones family. I thought that for sure Boss Cowboy had got paid from Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones got Boss Cowboy on payroll. Undercoverly. You know what I'm saying? He paying the Boss. But neither here nor there. Because he's saying, Boss, y'all know Boss been on this theory, whereas Jerry is better than Howie, right? Jerry over Howie. And I get all of that, right? But neither here nor there, when we look at the numbers, we're not paying big coins, big dollars at all for Eve and Brandin Cooks. And D-Hop already opened his mouth saying that, hey, he would be willing to rework his deal out. You got a window that you can hop right on in, ladies and gentlemen. You do. So it's all about doing that too. And I know the draft is always the unknown, because you can get into a draft.
Well, what I'm saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns, but there's also unknown unknowns, things we don't know that we don't know.
And that's what the draft brings to the table, right? There's a Antonio Brown somewhere in the late rounds, right? And I'm talking about the wide receiver that everybody passed up. There could be in this draft the next Tom Brady, right? That everybody going to pass up. There could be outside of the draft in the undrafted guys, the next Tony Romo, right? Within the confines of the conversation, there could be in this draft another Dayron Bland, right? Another Ezekiel Elliott. But with all of those names I just mentioned, there could be another Trent Richardson. You know what I'm saying? There could be, name me another bustable player. You know what I'm saying? Name me another bust player, There could be another bust guy. And shout out to Trent. I ain't trying to throw him under the bus. I think that when they change the rules of the running backs can't do this and do that, then things happen crazily. But you guys get what I'm saying. There are high highs, low lows. There's no guarantees. There could be another Ryan Leaf. Yeah. And there could be another, somebody said Jamarcus Russell. Man, Jamarcus Russell, shout out to LSU, man. The dude can sit Indian style, right? And throw the ball 60 and 70 yards, right? His arm can put Pat Mahomes' arm to shame. But he fooled around and started doing the whole other things, and bam, crazy stuff happened, right? It also depends on, hey, what team you go to, right? And who facilitate on that team. Coaching staff, coaching do matter, right? Christian Ponder. Yeah, baby, Christian Ponder. Look, think about this. Adrian Peterson, right? Dynamic running back. Just shouldn't whoop those kids. But, you know how they go. But Adrian, if he had him a half of a quarterback, shoot, he probably at least been to the Super Bowl. Yes, indeed. So you guys can see what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said Indian style. That's crazy, man. That dude had a cannon for an arm, And it is what it is. Blake Bortles, shout out to him, man. So the draft is always a fickle process. It is. So when I say these things, it's the known versus the unknown. It is also being able to be crafty enough with your contract language, right? It's LPTA versus trade-off. So when you start looking into the contract part of it, do you lean on the LPTA or do you lean on the trade-off? This may be a good situation for me as it relates to the overall collectives, but how can I benefit from getting someone on this team, extending said contract so that I can get the most value off said players that already mentioned that they will be willing to accept less dollars, lowest price, technically acceptable, right? Versus someone who you can clearly see with your natural eyes. Oh, this dude would be great. Bobby Carpenter. Oh, my God. Yeah. Shout out to Bobby Carpenter. He had him one hell of a game when he went to Detroit land. Had 2 INTs, a pick 6. He was doggone world class one year. And it was against us, by the way. Bobby Carpenter. He finally showed his graces and goodness. But you guys see what I'm saying, right? And all you need is a few. Yeah, somebody said Carson Wentz. Yeah. So it's so many things. And I'm not saying, ladies and gentlemen, that in order for us to win, we got to make these necessary moves, right? We got to put these things in place. Bobby says Johnny Manziel. I think the biggest issue with Johnny, crazy athletic talent. But let's be real, man. Cleveland is where you go to go. Cleveland is literally where you go to rest in peace. Many people tried it. Only Jim Brown was able to prevail, right? Cleveland is a place where you go to die. You know what I'm saying? That they should just change, rip off the uniforms, just get out of that area. Just get out of the area, scram. Scoot. You seen what happened? See, technically, the Cleveland Browns are the Baltimore Ravens, right? You see what happened? See, they got the Super Bowls. Cleveland Browns. Who remember Tim Couch? Who remember Tim? Unbelievable player, unbelievable. But I just don't think that you can make that orange and brown great. Yeah, I just don't think you can. I think that if there's a hex or a curse, it's on the Browns, right? Yes, indeed. Poor Browns, right? Somebody like, who is Tim Couch? Let me look him up, But, it's just what it is. So moving on from offense, because y'all know, I love defense. And yeah, Cleveland is like the factory of having some good players on there, but they never manifest into greatness as it relates to going deep into the playoff. And then I know somebody can say the same for the boys, the Cowboys. But hey, even though Even though we may not have won in the last 27 years or what have you, at least we don't look terrible in doing it. Can you imagine me being a diehard Cleveland Browns fan? You know what I'm saying? I would have to have the terrible Browns and everything else of the orange color with me. You know, that'd be crazy. You know, there could be a Law Nation over there for the Cleveland Browns, and they are the butt of every joke. Hey, where you go? I'm taking the Browns to the Super Bowl. What you mean? Well, I'm finna go use the restroom. You know, I'm finna go number 2. So at least we don't look terrible with it. And shout out to Myles Garrett, who really want to play for the Cowboys. You know how that goes, right? But it is the Cleveland Browns. But let me get over to this Deforest Buckner. Don't allow people, the 4-letter and the 3-letter, sway your mind, your judgment, your thoughts on this. Don't let them do that to you. Because what they're going to say on the 3-letter, the 4-letter, the 5-letter, the 10-letter networks, or whatever letter networks, is that the Cowboys only can win if they get superstar teams when we start winning. Don't let them control your mind. Don't let them or allow them to do this to us. Law, do you have any truths to this? Whenever we go and get things going, you see with your natural eyes the NFL, Roger Goodell, maybe Tupac and Biggie climbing out of the grave, you know, come out and they try to take away the things that we do great at. I remember a couple of years back, 2016, well, it was many moons back. We had a dynamic team. Ezekiel, Elijah, Elliott, phenomenal, generational. Man, everybody was sitting there saying, man, this dude, shoot, we need to figure out how to slow him down. This team will be in contentions of going back-to-back playoffs, man. And then they start pulling up stuff that he did in 2015, right? And said, let's suspend the man. Let's throw dirt and salt on that man's name. Let's sully and denigrate him. And he never looked the same since then. The man had to miss 6 games. Look, they did it. They did us so bad that year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. They made sure that they want to rip the hearts out of us, right? So these things that I can tell you right now, we went 9-7. I promise you, I will go to my grave to tell you guys that I think that with Ezekiel Elliott in 2017, we are at least a +2 to 3 win team, meaning that we will be in the playoff and anything can shake once you get into the dance. But they shut the door down on us. Who remember a couple of years back from there that all of a sudden, they said, you know what? The Cowboys finagled and finessed when the team shouldn't have. So we're going to take draft picks from them and we're going to sanction the Cowboys. See, that goes over a lot of people's head. Y'all remember after Miles Austin had a breakout performance and we kind of teetered some of the money and we maneuvered and we had a plan of action to be able to go get this guy, that guy. Then all of a sudden, there was a knock on the door. They took draft picks away from us. Then they kind of slid and did it to Daniel Snyder too. But I'm telling you, we are public enemy number 1. So don't let people take things away from you. Appreciate you. Notice Pac, or that's Pac, said he caught a plane and didn't stay. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you. Appreciate your Action Power. You know what I'm saying? Out to Cleveland late last evening. Yeah, I feel you, fam. Action Power. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, man, for your support. So what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, don't let the 4-letter, 3-letter network stand in the way. If Deforest Buckner said, hey, he want to play for a contender, he want to play for a winning team, he's willing to do this and that, he's seeking trade out situations. Don't let people say, we don't need. Don't let the narrative be, hey, man, we can do without. We like our guys, and start saying it. No. You go get that guy. 9 sacks from the inside. Shout out to my guy, Coach Marv, for pointing this out like 3-4 weeks ago, man. He said, Law, No, hold on, my voice too high. He said, Law, you got to pay attention now. The Colts, they on a fire sale. You know how you be talking. Yeah, the Colts, they on a fire sale. And the Colts, you can take a look at Deforest Buckner. You can probably, you can probably send some draft picks for him. And he will put Law, listen. That's like Coach Marvin talking. Law, listen. He will change the impact of your team. He will. He will change the impact. He will allow, Law, listen, he will allow Parsons to eat. He will allow Trayvon Diggs to set up and take picks. He will be a difference maker. And he will also let me tell you what. I'll be like, what, Coach? What, Coach? He will help D-Law out. You know, that's how Coach Mar be on the phone. You know, much love to him, man. I'll be like, God, no, man. Yes, Lord. God, that's you. Coach Mar be having that deep voice, man, you know.
Damn!
No lies, man, shoot. I think my guy Choctaw, Montana, he be like, Miss Melatonin, man, shoot. You listen to Coach Marv, 105.3, Coach Marv. Coach Mufasa, remember who you are. Remember. You got to stretch it. Remember. That Coach Marv, man, shout out to him. Watch, he call in today. Y'all going to be busting out laughing because that deep voice, man. But I would tell y'all, DeForest Buckner is that dude that can really make us sit back and say, all right, well, Law, what about Big Nasties, man? What about Big Nasties? You know, what about that? What about, where's my thing at? Here we go. Because I think he's, 295. What about Big Nasties? What about 340s? What about 350s? Then all I can tell y'all, don't fall in love with that size because his skill set and his ability can give you 9. Right? I don't think that, when the last time we had someone with 9? We can start talking about Pac, but when I held that 9, all I could see was my mama's eyes. You know what I'm saying? Sure, I don't know when the last time we had it. From the interior. Jason Hatcher, maybe. He had 12 of them, and then we got rid of them, right? Jay Ratliff, I don't know if he had 9. He probably could have had, what, 7 or 8 at the most. Marv Freeman. Yes, indeed. Leroy Glover, you know. So you get Buckner. You know, that's a whole nother outcome. That's a whole nother situation. I'm looking at it like, man, shoot. Hey, we all be singing over here, man. I ain't mad at you, dog. Come on. I won't be mad at all. I ain't mad at you. Shoot. Nobody will be mad at it. Buckner and Osa into the inside. And Osa is always, I'm almost close dude. You know what I'm saying? It's just the dude that was with him just couldn't get him that little extra. You know, unfortunately, I think our weak spot are both of our lines. Well, more DTs and some O-line depth. I feel you. You 1,000% right with that. You flat out 1,000% right. Core, the interior. You fool around and you improve the interior. Because, hear me out. Last year, teams, it takes about 4 or 5 weeks for teams to figure you out a little bit. And it was like, man, dog, Dallas, shoot. these boys, these bookends, they are creating pressure. And they tried to play us like they played us last season, and it wasn't working. Appreciate you, Zach. They tried to play us like they played us the season before that. It wasn't working. And then a team said, you know what? Let's just run on them. Let's just run the ball. Because they only eliminating, they taking away a half of the field. They test and they tempted Trayvon Diggs, and he was jumping routes. He's getting almost home with INTs and stuff. So they said, you know what? Let's just go ahead and when we throw the ball, we're going to throw it on Anthony Brown's side, right? And when we run the ball, because you got D-Law on that side, on the right side, we're going to try to do this. We will throw the ball to the right, and we'll run the ball to the left, you know? And we will we would do this. We'll play the yin, yang, or the YOLO situation because the Cowboys, they can't really stop the run on the left side, and they can't stop the throw on the right side. Let me know. Let me know if I'm wrong. And that's how teams figured it out like week 4, week 5 down the line. They started to run on us. We would raise the blade thin in the inside, and they said, hey, let's run it up the gut. And that's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. So what we did this offseason, we solidified that DB side with Gilly. Now, is Gilly an end-all, be-all guy? I'm not saying that he is, but for dog sure, is he better? Y'all know what I'm about to say. I ain't finna say James Washington, of course, his defense. But he's better than Anthony Brown. He's better than Noah. I'm going to say Noah Brown. But he's better than Nashawn Wright, I meant to say. He'd probably be better than Noah Brown, too. He'll put Gilly on a wide out, you know what I'm saying, spot. But neither here nor there. He's better than Kelvin Joseph, right? Don't call him boss man. Right? He's better than what we had as options on that opposite side. Now, granted, DaRon Bland, we don't want to slow his growth aspect down, but the reality of it is, shoot, two-way goes in the inside, playing that nickel. That's a hard world to live. That's a hard world to live. And being thrown into the fire, shoot, we want to see this right here. Repeatings, por favor. Bland, do the same thing again. Bland, do it again. Because the Cowboys should figure those parts out, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing, the last thing to solidify this team is to make sure that you solidify the interior on the defense. This will make the super team for the Cowboys. I don't want to hear people say, hey, man, why we need players and stuff like that in order to win? Why we need all of this and all of that? Why we can't just win with the guys that we had? Law, we wasn't that far away last season. This is the year-to-year league. There are teams that probably jumped out real fast last season, won't even make it to the playoff this season. The breaks and the happenings that happen for them will not be successful for this year. People got more and more tape on you. People understand your philosophy and how you like to operate and proceed. Shoot. They would take your good things away from you and force you to play left-handed. You know, a lot of times, even let's talk about the Eagles. You see Washington, you know, when they played them, the second time, Jimmy Johnson brought it up. Remember that video I said? Jimmy Johnson said, yeah, sometimes when you play a team the first time, they beat you so bad, you go back, look at tape, and it wasn't that bad. It was just a few things that you can tweak just a little bit, and you can flip it back on them. And the Washington team did just that to the Eagles. They ripped their heart out. They ran the ball with a guy that got shot 8, 9 times. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't stop the brother. And I know it's hard for us to say anything about it because they did us the second time too like that. So it's a week-to-week lead. And when they get details and information on you, it's all about the core and the principles and the base. Stop the run, force teams to pass, and an uncomfortable situation, play keep away, hold on to the ball, and they wasn't ready for that type of physicality. They brought everything, including the sink, the lunch table, and the crying baby. You got to be able to make them adjustments, though. It's more tape on Hurts and Mr. Hot for 2 quarterbacks. Yeah, for 2 quarters. Yes. So y'all see that. You can see the difference in Hankins. Yes. But the people, you see, there will be people that will be listening to me and say, well, good old Law just hating. No, I'm telling the truth. The truth is stranger than fiction, by the way. And the Cowboys, and here's what you got to understand, too. Speaking of that, here's what you got to understand, too. That whatever inefficiencies you had during the regular season, it goes even deeper and bigger in the postseason, and it magnifies once you get to the Super Bowl. So that's why most coaches, the successful ones, they get burnt out. They done looked at everything, cross T's, dot I's. They looked at everything, and they know about their roster, and they say they know for sure that this dude can only give you this much. And with the surrounding help, he can only give you that much maybe. So that's just what it is. Yeah, Cowboy fans' truth are frictions. Yeah, I feel you, Jason, right? I feel you. But here's the thing. You want to eliminate them the best way possible. There are people right now that say, well, there's no excuses. You got to eliminate them before they occur. You got to be that more advanced, and there's no shortcuts to success. And on top of that, you got to figure out, if I'm a DB, let's just go back to how small this game is, a game of inches. If I'm a DB, a rookie, and coach already said or somebody said, hey, the field is slippery, the field is wet, it's cold, and then this side of the field, it's gonna be slipperier once the game is in process, because the players' clicks will soften the field, and the slip spots will be even slippier as the game go on. And as a rookie, you may be looking at this situation and moment and saying, nah, I'm good, I'm Gucci, I'm cold-blooded where I'm at right now. I walk the field. A veteran guy would say, I feel you on that, young. Change them cleats out right now. You see, Bland in that Green Bay Packers game, I'm not saying he's the reason why we lost, but he was one of the guys that, hey, I'm comfortable with the cleats I got. So when Aaron Rodgers hit the kid, he said, oh, he's slipping a little bit. Let's hit him on 3rd and long. Let's hit him on a deep over. Touchdown. First down. Why? Because he was eligible enough, with wisdom and understanding, playing in the league long enough to know that kid is slipping. He can't cover you. But we can't showcase all of it because he's a damn good cover corner. But we're going to hit him where it hurt. And then they said, after that play, oh, let me change out these cleats. You know what I'm saying? Let me change out these shoes. But when you have someone with wisdom and understanding of the game that got credence and validation, I know validation is only good for parking, but when you have a Gilly out there and he said, hey, I played in these type of temperatures before. When I played in Buffalo, when I played in X, Y, and Z stadium, go with the larger spikes now. Don't even try to play around with it. But it's sticky. Nah, don't worry about it. It's too sticky. Don't worry about it. It will help you out down the long way. Trayvon Diggs couldn't pour that into Bland, nor Anthony Brown could pour that into Bland. or because Anthony was hurt by that time, was he? But nor did anybody else on his team. What I'm saying is sometimes you got to have that person who's been around in the league long enough to tell you, hey, these are the things that you got to correct. Case in point, even with, and I'm not beating him up, Kellen Moore. Even with Kellen Moore.
Argued a lot.
Let's break this down.
I love the fit of the player with this team because I argued a lot last year that this Dallas Cowboys offense did not have enough separation. This was actually, to me, a big part of the reason why Dak Prescott threw so many interceptions. He had the highest, I talked about this endlessly, highest tight window throw rate in the NFL. Now, some of that is because Dak Prescott loves throwing tight window throws up the seams, but some of it is because his wide receivers do not separate that much. And we had a stat on NFL Live that our researcher Henry gave me that Brandin Cooks he's not what he was 4 years ago, but he had as many 30-yard catches last year in like 13 games as the entire Cowboys roster. Yeah. What he brings to this offense is speed, separation. You move, CD gets to play in the slot full time, which is the best spot for him. Yep. It creates space for him. Michael Gallup slides back to that number 3 role, which is where he thrived with Amari Cooper. And suddenly, in the grand words of Radiohead, everything is in its right place. So just from a football standpoint, I think it's exactly what they needed.
Man, from the mouth of Mina Kimes is what I said. Yeah, I can say it all year, and people are like, yeah, it's whatever, man. It's whatever, man. You just an apologist. Maybe she is one, too. But not everybody's lying, right? So sometimes even Big Mike got to sit back and just say, all right, if I help this young kid out, I will be out. Because sometimes people don't believe, old folks from the South will say, some people don't believe fat meat greasy. So sometimes when we look back at this, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls and everyone that's listening, we can see something tangible on tape and say, hey, these guys are not getting separation. These guys are not running with a purpose, even from a route running situation. They all stopping their feet. They're not even aggressively coming back toward the ball. They are all hook routes or what have you. And when it's a hook route, of course, the separation will not be there. And option routes, of course, those option routes are designed for your most keen person. Finite information of the field person to do those. Normally, it's leveraged with size, right? And normally you give those routes to maybe a tight end and your number 1 wide receiver, but you don't give them to all 4 wide receivers, including the guy that's on the bench, right? So when we say these things, this is not apologizing for Dak Prescott. It's not. It's pointing out the flaws and the miscues of the system that we had. It was a flawed system. But here's the thing. When you bring in this particular system, I know I can hear people right now, hey, well, that means no excuses, Law. Newsflash. There's only one team at the end of every year that say, hey, man, there's no excuses. And that's the team that lift up that Lombardi trophy. My guy, Gallup, we love what he brings for the table. He brings in a good trough of food. He brings all of that to the table. We lay it down there and say, hey. But last year, fighting through, rushing back, he wasn't the same Gallup. And what you wanted him to do is to repeat his role from the previous year and the previous year of that when he was the 3rd option. And then you want to evaluate that and you want to advance that and say, just because I give you the money, that we want you to be the 2nd option. It don't work that way. We go to a car lot, and I like to use cars. I like to use cars as an analogy. If we go to the same car lot and we go buy a $10,000 car, whatever it may be, don't want to name out a brand of car, but if it's $10,000 and if you bought $20,000 for the same $10,000 car, doesn't mean that all of a sudden, just because you bought $20,000 for that $10,000 car, that the $20,000 car all of a sudden is going to run as if though it's a $40,000 to $50,000 car. It doesn't mean that. That's just what you bought. Just what you bought. It's the same car. So what we're saying here with Michael Gallup is that he's still the same guy. Matter of fact, we have to make the justifications that this dude was coming back from that ACL tear. That Beast Mode said a 99 Honda. You know what I'm saying? So you paid 10 grand for that 99 Honda doesn't mean that all of a sudden it's going to run like a 2009 Honda, right? It's the same Honda, you know? Robert Howard says, Lord, shouldn't that be on the coach as well? On what clicks to wear? Big Mike used to coach on the same field. Yes, but also within the confines, you get some things with experiences. You get some things with experience. The coaches may say, be sure to wear your cleats. Make sure you cleat up. And that could be the extent of his conversation with it. Veteran guys would say, hey, make sure you go with a deeper cleat. Why? The field, I think I'm working pretty good with this cleat. As big as Mike McCarthy is, I don't think he ever ran a 9 or a 7 route, right? You know, or big as Mike McCarthy is, I don't think that he played cover 3 or cover 2 defenses press man, right? So he may not even know the footing, but he can see from the evaluation that this person is slipping. And then he probably said, I thought I told you to change out those clicks. Coaches just do that all the time when we play. The veteran guys, that's why I say that old broom can get those corners. That new broom sweeping good. So, yeah, and I'm not letting Mike McCarthy off the hook because y'all know what happened to me after that Green Bay Packers game. I encourage all of you guys to watch my videos and films and my live streams. I try my darndest not to take them down. But if you guys could do me a huge favor, just don't watch the Green Bay. Don't type in Law Nation Green Bay Packers game 2022. Trust me, I wasn't myself. But one thing I can tell you that with Big Mike, what he did from a philosophy aspect of allowing Kellen Moore to install, and you install it, you call it type of thing, is that was the only way he can penetrate the thick heads of the Jones family. Because if he was in there helping Kellen Moore out, and Kellen Moore refusing to listen to his philosophy because he said he didn't like option routes, at the end of the day, the blunt of the blame would have been primarily only on Big Mike. But Big Mike probably went to that front office and said, hey, I'm going to allow the young phenom, the war wonder that you guys believe that he can be a head coach for this team, do it all as it relates to offense. I'm just going to manage it. So if he's cooking and the kitchen get caught on fire and stuff like that, I probably helped him out in 2020 and 2021, but it's up to him to learn to take it out. And the best way you can learn on how to ride a bike is by yourself. There's going to be strawberries, some scraped knees and stuff like that. And the way this stuff works, ladies and gentlemen, the way this stuff works is this right here. Your mom and your daddy can't help you on riding the bike with you on the bike. You got to learn how to fall off that bike by yourself. And most moms out there, you know, it's different between empathy and sympathy. They love to coddle, and I ain't talking about all. I said the word most. And I ain't trying to say all of these fellas beta now. You know what I'm saying? But these new age kids, they have helmets, knee pads, shoulder pads, elbow pads. I said, where they do that at? Shoot, ain't nothing like ball sense, but the moms show sympathy. It was empathy where we grew up at. Shoot, let him learn on his own. I'm in my 40s, and I still got war wounds from a bike, you know? Come on, y'all. But a lot of people are raising these betas, and they riding around here with helmets, knee pads, shoulder pads, mouth guard and everything to this day on a bike. You know? I'm seeing, look, dude, I said, dog, got the chin strap and everything. Shoot. We rode them bikes, and they would tell us, hey, man, make sure your shoes tied. Man, F y'all, man, we know we do. Ah! Y'all, but ain't nothing like ball sense, right? You know?
Damn!
You know? Sure. Don't ride them bikes with them shoelaces untied. Man, F y'all, man, we ride the bike. Yeah! All this stuff be gone, scraped up. What happened to you, dog? Yeah, man, I should have listened to Coach. He said don't ride them bikes with them shoelaces untied. Shh. Don't ride them bikes with them flip-flops. You know what I'm saying? Especially the ones that with the ones that go in between the toes. Shh. Try to make a quick stop. All of your doggone feet gonna be messed up. Some people got bad feet to this day because riding bikes with them flip-flops on. Oh, buddy. All right, so y'all know how this goes. So Mike, he tried. He tried to tell Kelly Moore last year, hey, tie them shoes up, man. Tie them shoes up before you get on the bike. No! Scott Linehan was my daddy anyway. You're not my father. You know. Hey, man, I think you should run more. No! You're just a stepdaddy over here. You're not my dad. I'm going to run the option route the way I run it. Well, you install it. You call it, you know. That's probably what happened. And Big Mike was like, Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, my gosh. You install it, you call it. I told you about them option route. It's picked off. You know what I'm saying? The other way. Yeah. And then Kelly was like, well, hell, I'll go to another play. I told you, but did you put the flip? Why you didn't put the shoes on? Them flip-flops tore him up, didn't he? It tore him up. Oh, my gosh, man. And Kelly Boy will shoot. Sometimes he'll win games. He said, see, I told you we can win it our way. And Mike was like, yeah, you're right, son. You're right. You won it your way. You won it. But keep in mind, I saw you almost, you did a little of this moment right here. Tie the shoes up next time. No. All right, let me get off of it. But y'all get what I'm saying, right? Yes, indeed. Y'all like, man, I'm trying to teach my son or daughter to ride a bike now. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But there's a lot of people who try to skip all of that. And there's a lot of people still got training wheels on to this day. Riding bikes with training wheels. A lot of people refuse to even, when they was giving those classes out on how to drive a stick shift. No, I'm good. I don't need to drive a stick shift. I don't need a stick. And then, you see where they at now. But speaking of that, we'll talk about this. Let me bring this music on so I can play this. And this is RG3's top 5 list. Let's go.
So much smarter. Okay.
We're going with Geno Smith.
His top
they wrote
5
him off,
list.
but he ain't right back, though. Geno got bars, and I absolutely love it. He led the league in completion percentage last year. And listen, one year, I understand he threw almost more touchdowns last year than he did in his entire career.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, coaching matters. Last year is more of the player that Geno Smith is than the rest of his career. Bank it. Number 4.
Story he was. Go ahead.
We got Kyler Murray. All right, now this guy gets a lot of hate, and I understand it, but he's the first player in NFL history to have 70 passing touchdowns and 20 rushing touchdowns in his first 3 years. And his completion percentage in his first 3 years of his career,
Can y'all hear audio?
66.8, highest in NFL history.
All
so
right.
Last year was a down year for him. He's coming off an ACL, but we got to stop disrespecting this guy. They didn't pay him because they feel bad.
Uh-huh.
They paid him because he's a certified baller.
All right.
Number 3,
I'll buy it.
we're going with Dak Prescott. You want to talk about hate? This guy gets all the hate in the world, but he's 53-32 as a starter. He is a winner. What I will tell you this about Dak, he can get it done in any type of way possible. Last year, he was also hurt with a thumb injury. But when you talk about him, Do not look at what he did in the last game against the 49ers.
No doubt.
Don't have that recency bias.
Okay.
Look at what he did against the Bucks. That is the quarterback that he is, and this year he has to have more playoff success to prove this ranking.
Okay.
All right. Number 2, we're going with my old teammate, Kirk Cousins.
What?
All right.
These are the top 5 that he have. All right, let's listen to more.
Now, some people will say, why? Why would you do that? I know he has a propensity to throw interceptions in bunches. Last year, he threw 14, and 10 of them came in 4 games. But he had 8 game-winning drives last season, and his, yes, primetime record isn't that great.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I believe the Vikings were 13-4, and
That
he
is
needs
true.
to start getting a little bit more respect because his play is starting to garner this ranking. And number 1, my main man, Jalen Hurts. All right?
All right.
You want to talk about
that makes a lot of sense to me.
Now you want to talk about a guy that's overcome all the obstacles in his career. Alabama, going to Oklahoma, then going to the Eagles, having to beat out Carson Wentz and make him a believer. Goes to the Super Bowl, throws for 304 yards and a touchdown, runs for 70 and 3 touchdowns, outperforms Patrick Mahomes. Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the NFC, and it's a big gap between him and everybody else.
Wow.
All right, so everyone have an opinion, right? So here's my thoughts on this. And, of course, RG is an analyst. Shout out to him for what he do. But I'm going to tell you guys, I'm looking at this not as a negative connotation. I look at this like, okay, cool. Dak Prescott is the 3rd on this list according to him. And he could be middle of the pack, Dak, according to most people. But what I'm going to tell you guys, of course, Kirk Cousins, you know, we can literally put in an argument that if you wanted to go by wins or what have you and what they did during the season, Dak did outperform Kirk Cousins on the stage, but that's a whole nother storyline. But let's look at it like this. He said that Jalen Hurts is far superior than everybody on this list. Well, what happened? What changed? What made Jalen Hurts get to that level? What made Jalen Hurts have this perception that he is that far ahead of the other guys? Well, lo and behold, these are the things that happen. Off-season acquisition. So if Jalen Hurts is that guy that's so far light years ahead of all of these other boys, based off of what he did on it. It's a strong argument because you can clearly say, hey, man, none of these guys threw a single pass that's on this list in the Super Bowl, right? You can have that argument. But what I want to say to you guys right now, that, hey, when the expectations meets the reality now, they're going to say, hey, do it again. And I can tell you guys right now, let me ask you this. Would Jalen Hurts do the same thing that he did last year without an A.J. Brown? Without the weapons on the outside? Or was it all really Jalen Hurts? So those are things that you have to ask yourself. Could Jalen Hurts do that with Jalen Reagor? Huh? And Devontae Smith over there. Devontae Smith over there. So I would say, y'all, the quick answer there is no. And we will find out this season. And not even, on that list, not even Kirk Cousins should be considered better. But I've seen, a lot of people say, well, Dak led the league in INTs. I give them that. Put them at the bottom of the list. Let's see how this season kick off and be off for the 2023 year. Because at the bottom, when you're there, you have no other spot to go but up. So let's continue to look at it from those perspectives. And I love that. This team is closer to being a super team than most people think. Law is pretty much appreciate you. Robert Howard says, Law, in the words of the late Betty White, in reverse, I know you and you don't know me. I remember the Green Bay game, and I was just pissed off as you was. Love your show. Nothing but the best. Appreciate you. Yeah, man, that Green Bay game. Woo! Oh, yeah, that Green Bay game got me. But outside of that, I told y'all I won't get that mad anymore. So, yeah, that Green Bay game prepared me for the Jacksonville Jaguar game. And it also prepared me for, dare I say, the San Fran game, San Fran. It was just a terrible loss for us. If the Green Bay Packer game never existed, and if only the San Fran game existed the way it did, shoot, y'all wouldn't have been ready for me, boy. Oh, my gosh. Burrow is elite. This is from Akeem. I get what people say with Burrow. Shout out to Burrow. Allen, Josh Allen, all of those boys. Shout out to them, right? Yeah. Josh Allen was this close from losing to Skylar Thompson, though, by the way. You that close. Yes, indeed. But it is what it is. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I am awake. He said, look, his quarterback is number one. Let him be number one. Let him be number one. Let him be the best. Y'all say it with me. Let him be the best quarterback in the NFC. Let him be that. But if he is that, pay that man like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't shortchange the man. So y'all make sure that they pay that man like he is. Let me know. Don't shortchange the man. Don't take his pocket change. Make sure y'all pay that man his money, his coins, his remunerations over there. Make sure that y'all pay him. Pay that man. He should be the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League. Come on, y'all. Don't shortchange him. And don't y'all think for 1 second. Hurts. You had the ball in your hand, man. It was the ball fault, not your fault. They gave you a slick ball and the field was slippery. If not those things happened, Hurts would have been a Super Bowl champ. It would have been fly, Eagles, fly. Go ahead and pay that man his money.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Yes, indeed, man. So, hey, at this time for your mind, keep this in mind, y'all. At the end of the day, don't allow the outside noise change your mind. This team, we got every chance and opportunity to be exactly what the title say. You know what I'm saying? Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's get it, because I ain't mad at you. Y'all know I ain't. Let's go. 657-390-7391 is the hotline for your mind. I want to know what's on your heart, your soul, and send you and all of that good stuff. We are 1 or 2 moves away. And technically, on paper, I'm just going to show the paper right now. On paper, we are better than what we were last year. Yes or no? Got my guy Jay Lombardi. He got the number. It's pinned to the top on my YouTube page. Let's go. The name is Law Nation. Appreciate you, Howard. Appreciate you. Take away the number one receiver. See how they play with receiver running routes. Running wrong routes. No separation. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Howard, appreciate you. That's good.
There are 3 participants in the conference.
Yeah.
Please announce yourself.
Come on.
Now I only need an account the ones who
Ball with me.
Down to fall with me. Down to put it on the line when lose a draw with me.
Yeah.
Those my brothers, different mothers, part of Paul.
Come on.
Got the Bonnie to my class, she break the law with me.
What's up, y'all? Let's go. All right, man. The first caller I got of the hour is a brother from another mother. The guy that I was talking about earlier. Hey, it's Coach Marv. From the 803, Coach Marv, man. Talk to me, man. Coach? Coach. Coach. You all right, Coach? Coach Bob. Coach, man, what's going on, Coach? Man, call back, Coach. Call back, man. I hope all is well, man. All right, I got Darius, man, for the 214. You live.
Yeah, Law Nation was happening, big dog.
Not much, man. What you got on your heart, man?
Man, so first of all, I want to apologize to the Cowboy organization, Jerry Jones, for first of all that number 1 pick with Tyler Smith last year. I was highly upset. I know a lot of other people was upset, but listen, we just gonna assume
Right.
the Cowboys pick offensive lineman in the first round. They know what they're doing. Is that safe to assume?
Yeah, man, the Cowboys, it's 3 years to grade a draft. It takes 3 years. And the way they move and do draft picks is they give us a surprise every year, right? Bland last year, Sam Williams and Tyler Smith. So we are a spoiled organization, man, with these draft picks. Our only Achilles heel to this is what we've been all banging on the table, Darius. It's for them to make 1 or 2 moves in the free agency. And now they're making the 1 or 2 moves by trade or what have you. So yeah, man, keep giving your apologies, man, because this team is doing something special this year.
That's a beautiful segue because I was just about to touch on that. I called in, I want to say a week or so ago. I gave up on free agency. I said, man, I'm not finna do it.
Right.
You're not finna take me through this rigmarole every year. I'm sick and tired of it. I'll believe it when I see it. And I want to apologize again. Hey, they made 1 or 2 moves. Law, you've been getting greedy. Greedy. I've been hearing you. I'm like, dang, Law, you said 1 or 2 moves. They made 2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But that's the nature of the man, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, come on over to the crib. I got some champagne on ice for you. And then she say, are we just gonna come and chill? Yes, we just gonna come and chill. And then she come over. Then hey, the lights dim. All of a sudden, soft music is there. Now you put in Netflix. Now that's what we do as men. We keep pushing the envelope, right or wrong, Darius.
If this love, girl, will last forever. You know it. I know it's a song.
Yeah. We push it a little bit, and then don't let us put in Kim. You know, it's over with. It's over with. Over with. You know, once that I can't stop loving you, and by the time he say, girl, it's over with. You know, but the battle was at least getting the agreement to come over, right? So the Cowboys at least getting somebody to come over. That's all I'm saying. You know, I hope this analogy is not too strong at this time of the hour, but you get what I'm saying, Darius.
I feel you. This is my last point because I know I got to get up out of here. This is my last point. So I gave the flowers.
Yep.
Now we finna come in with the objectiveness because that's what I do. So I want to know, Law, because you're talking about Mike McCarthy. Okay, since Kellen Moore, he let him install it and call it, who was managing the clock?
It had to be Big Mike. He had to be managing the clock. Hey, it's up to him to call timeout and stuff like that. And if I were to give kudos and credence to, let's say, the who's really involved in games, what's that kid? Nicholas Sirianni. Remember him in games?
Nick Sirianni.
Yeah. He be all in it. He's in tune with the game. And he'll call timeout and he'll F and swear and all at the aficionados. So, yeah, I would want Mike McCarthy to be more involved. I'm not saying that Sirianni is a better coach than Mike, but what I can say is that I want – you're going to say it, but he don't have a hardware. Well, I want Mike McCarthy to be more involved.
Okay, that's my first question. My second question is who determines the temperament of the team so that they're not nervous when they're about to play a playoff game for this championship-winning head coach? I want to know who controls the temperament to make sure that they're not nervous when they're about to play a playoff game.
That is a twofold question. That is a twofold. Not one selects all. I can tell you that the issue with that and everything is at the feet of the head coach, right? but you also have to have your warriors, the ones that be willing to charge. When I say charge, you ever notice in war, you see that guy that when they come up to that battleground, the leader might say, charge, and everybody go run, you know what I'm saying? The pawns, and the guy stay on the horse, he yelling, charge. So who was the guy yelling, charge? And so last year, going into that game, the first playoff game versus the Niners, right? They come out with Debo coming out with Super Gremlin and all of that stuff, right? And hearing from the coaching staff that people were nervous and anxiety and all of that, I thought that they did a great job of drafting and putting people in places of being, hey, for dog sure we're going to win a playoff game this year. And we didn't hear anybody being nervous or timid and things like that. So they corrected that. But the problem is in the playoff game, the second game, they didn't correct that part of it, of being able to continue to evolve. And they didn't do that last season.
Those are all my questions, Law. I just wanted to know, for me personally, I've seen all that I need to see from Mike McCarthy to let me know that he ain't it. I've seen it enough. I've seen it.
Well, keep doubting him. He can't prove it until he win it, right?
And this my main thing with him. This year, we gonna see.
Hey.
We gonna see Mike McCarthy because he talk a big game. He talk a big game, a good one, boy.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah,
we gonna see it. That's all I want to know.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you.
Much love, man.
The Darius, y'all. You know, yes, indeed. He's out. Like when I say in the chat, if you believe in Mike McCarthy, type MM in the chat. Well, he's one of the guys that don't type MM. But for the record, if you believe in Mike McCarthy, just type MM in the chat. You know, Mike McCarthy, you team Mike, you believe that now he got the full entree. He can order, he can order whatever he want off the menu, and that's what we're seeing now. He said, hey, order that Brandin Cooks. Hey, order this too. Oh, Dan Quinn get to order and I don't get to order? Let me put in an order, you know? I don't like, I don't like these type. I like ranch fries, So now he get to put his own order in, and someone don't have to order for him. So I like the way Darius is thinking, though. Hold his feet to the fire. He ain't going to sip the Kool-Aid yet. Some people are like, hey, pour it. I ain't going to sip it yet. Some people are already sipping it. Put a little Henny in mine, though. Coach Marv from the 803, you're live. Coach. I hope all is well, y'all. I hope all is well. My guy, man, Alfonso, man, from the 915, you're live.
What's up, Big Law Nation? Long time no talk. How you been, man?
Man, well, man, I can't complain. How you been?
Hey, I think Jerry Jones and Catboy Stephen Jones have seen the light.
Yeah.
They're making some of these moves I never thought they would make. The only move I want them to do now, if it can happen, is to get that D-Hop. He's already having some. I don't know if you saw, he was having like a little orange juice in Dallas right now.
Yeah, I saw him on a live. Either he's teasing us or Dez Bryant say do this and do that. Dez Bryant is his agent.
Well, hopefully Dez Bryant gets it done.
Yeah.
Because E-Hop plus Brandin Cooks plus CeeDee Lamb plus Dak, and then maybe we can get that Bijan Robinson.
Yeah. I mean, if with the 26th pick, I'm doing BPA. If Bijan is their best player available, then don't get too cute with it. Draft him. Don't think about it. Don't sully the man. Don't denigrate him. Don't start talking about all of the other running backs that was drafted in the first round. Understand that, everything is different in the draft. It depended on your team and a whole bunch of other things of the unknown. So if it's him, it's him. If it's offensive lineman, it's that. If it's defensive interior guy, it's that. But don't stay true to your board. That's what I want to say.
Yes, I can't. I mean, I learned not to doubt the Cowboys in the drafts anymore. These guys know how to do first-round picks.
Right.
And so whoever it is, they know more than me. And if they big hits, except for that Taco Charlton. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for the season. I got a little bit of hope going on. Sucks that Zeke's gone right now, but we got to move on. You got to move on.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you, bro. I can't wait for this year, man, for you to come on up for another event, and we get things going from there. Appreciate you, bro.
Of course, get that tequila ready. How about them Cowboys?
No doubt, man. That's my guy, man, from the 915. Great time. Came out to one of the events last year, and we didn't have a good time. We had a great time. All right, so I'm going to go with my guy from the 206, MJ. You're live.
What up, Law man? How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, all is well, bro. Talk to me, man. What's on your heart?
Hey, man, what's happening is, like the other guy, he talking about McCartney. McCartney won a Super Bowl, man.
Oh, yeah,
He got more power than you. He got more power than all the coaches you asked for. So all the coaches y'all talking about, they bums. They ain't won shit. I hate to tell you.
Yeah.
So y'all go with the other coaches that ain't never won shit. So
on top of that, MJ, you got to contextualize the fact that it's not easy, man, coaching over here in Cowboys world. You got people, you got somebody over your shoulder the whole time, man.
Thank you. This guy won a Super Bowl in Green Bay and almost been to a lot of other Super Bowls, even before us. And used to kick our butt always. So I'm glad he on our team.
Right.
This man got to refresh in his mind what he want to do. They all on the team. Like you say, he got his offensive coordinator. He got his scheme guy. He got his offensive lineman. What he gonna tell them guys to beat up other linemen? And they gonna get another lineman. I'm not worried about that. And they gonna get another defensive tackle because they used to always he always dropped big bowling balls in the middle. Yeah. He had that for Green Bay.
Yeah, BJ, and he had remember Cullen Jenkins?
Yep.
They had two big boys. Yeah. BJ Raji.
Weighed 340.
Yeah, BJ Raji and Cullen Jenkins. That was the year they won the Super Bowl. They had some big boys down inside. And that freed up Clay Matthews. Clay Matthews had like 14 sacks that season.
Thank you. You just said what they said. They about to get these tackles. So I'm not tripping out that. The Cowboy fans got to get out this hallucination. And they be hating on that Dak Prescott. I already know what Dak Prescott could do.
Right.
In 2016, I know he could be a Tom Brady. I already seen it. I got mad when they tried to make him be a Dan Marino. He's not Dan Marino.
Right.
He's a Tom Brady type. That could run.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? He's a Tom Brady type that can run. He's good with play action. He's the best in play action. So I'm not worried about. So all you fake Cowboy fans who keep talking about this man, y'all fakers, phonies. Only thing y'all want to keep saying is talking about the quarterback. I don't want to hear nothing about the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? We know what we got to do. Ain't no excuses for nobody this year. So they putting that team together. Cowboy is going to give you all the best player. We'll know what he's doing. So it's all up to and then when the players get on their field, they got to play. Ain't no excuses. I don't want to hear, oh, man, no. If he put Law in the game and Law run a 4-3 and tip it, well, get Law ass out the game.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
May the best player make the best plays and get out there on the field. So Thank you.
And then they might drop. I gave a scenario early today to Steele. I say, what if they do this for y'all?
What
Cowboy fans.
Okay, I'm listening.
They take the coach of D tackle that want to leave.
Buckner. Yeah.
DeForest
Buckner.
Take him.
Yeah.
We do his contract, and they're going to take that 5th round pick because they want to get out of that money. They want to get that money out. So you give them another 5th round pick, so we don't need that pick. We ain't got no 5th round. And then we go on and get Sean Robinson to go with him. And then go Bobby Wagner. And then draft draft that guard from TCU, baby, or the Michigan Center. And then get another lineman, and then get that running back, my boy from Auburn. He ran a 4.4, or one of them running backs. Okay. And then you go get your tight end. Now you set. Your D in the middle is cold-blooded. Your linebackers ready. Your corner's set. And and you good to go. And you still could draft a corner either way. You see what I'm saying?
I think they will still draft a corner this season, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, MJ, for calling in.
I want the Michigan corner, DJ. The
Turner,
Michigan corner, put him in the slot.
Yeah, 4-2-7. Yeah.
Put him in the slot.
Woo. Man, you talking about speed.
If they do that, yeah, then that means they're going to cut your boy. What's the other corner we got that's coming back?
J. Lou.
Yep. They're gonna cut J. Lou, say that $4 million, $5 million, you give that money to them D tackles. You don't need him no more. Cause now we got that boy that can take his spot, and we got competition all over the field, and may the best man play on the field. Now the offensive line is gonna be a beast with that running game, play action, and now you got that D tackles where them linebackers gonna eat all day.
Man, this is a good call from you, man. That's a good list right there, MJ. I thank you for calling in, man. You have a good one. Always. Hit them likes, y'all. Yes, indeed, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Give me my theme music.
Yo. Yeah. Let my guy come up in here, man. I got my guy, Coach Marv, man, from the 803. You're live, Chief.
What is going on, Lord? You may have tried to get me the first time, man. Had to step away from the phone for a second because I was up in there early. That's why I sent you that message that I'm back.
Yeah.
Hey, man, this here, you're right about what I was saying about Deforest Buckner, man.
You're right. Yeah.
Deforest Buckner would be you're talking about probably a all-pro type player. And if you can get a team on a fire sale like that, yes, that's a great acquisition. But there's two things I want to miss that I want to kind of shoot down.
Right. Go ahead.
Listen, I hear a lot of people talking about, man, the run game, our defense on the run game was bad. Look what we ranked. I watched the game. You know, I watched the games.
Right.
You watched them and watched them. The run game, okay, let's look at our ranking, but the run game was not a very bad part of our defense.
Can I say this before you go to your point, and let me know if I'm right about when I say this. With the run game situation, they gashed us when we when we was trying to fabricate pressure to get to the quarterback. They called the right run plays, and they gashed us in that Green Bay Packers game, put big numbers up on us because we had our guys twisting. And then D-Law in that Chicago game, he was so focused in getting on to the quarterback that the quarterback was able to bounce and pivot onto the outside. And what teams started to do with running quarterbacks, they used that as the blueprint. So you got a lot of good yards from your running type of quarterbacks against us, and that's discipline, right? So you can fix discipline, but it's a situation whereas by you trying to fabricate the pressure from the interior, that is something as far as principle. You're gonna have to get big boys inside, or you're gonna have to just coach them up differently, and that could have been resolved there. But go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, but Law, your observation is on point, because if you look at the games that the running game was kind of, the numbers was bad on us. Yes, running quarterbacks, Daniel Jones, the kid from Chicago, even Hurts in the first game, but not really, But when we made I think sometimes we were out of position. And then a lot of our games that we had big run stats, there was that one run for 36 yards or that one run for 40 yards that really, and then that reverses killed us. If you look back at our games, there's about 3 or 4 games that receivers had 3 carries for 36 yards or 40 yards because of not setting the edge. Right. So those type of things make you look at if a team, let's say like this, as a coach, this is what you look at. If a team takes 40 times to run for 130 yards, I'm all right. My problem is, right, while we on the field, for that long, and is my offense helping them not be helping us, so their offense can't be that patient.
Right.
So that's what we talking about, because if I would notice, if you could run the foot, if your run defense is bad, it's gonna show up every week. It's not gonna be up and down. 2 weeks real good, but it's gonna be like it was in 2019. It's gonna be bad, horribly. So I think that the Hankins a D lineman, but if you really look into the numbers and look at the play, and I'm not on just numbers, to look at the play.
Right, they look at the tape.
Had a hell of a year.
Who?
Also had a hell of a year.
Oh yeah, shoot, that's my guy right there. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he had. And Golston came on at the end. So I believe when we picked up Hankins, we have to remember there was a domino effect there. Mm-hmm. That's the same time that Big Bo got his shoulder hurt as well, and he never really came back after that shoulder injury. Really, I think only played maybe about 5% of the snaps. I think he missed a couple games, and he never really came back out of that. So that's why I'm just saying. I'm not saying
Coach, let me say this too.
It's not as bad.
You and I think we had a debate, and it could have been you when I was talking about Carlos Watkins versus Gilmore. You was like, nah, Carlos was a whole lot better at that spot, because Gilmore, although he packed on that weight, and he's perceived to be a 1, but he's not. He's still a 3. And he just didn't have that strength. Sometimes you can get big, right, but you don't carry the strength. And that's what happened with Gilmore. And you was like, Watkins was a whole lot better than Gilmore.
Yeah, Watkins was a whole lot better. And I just think, like, I don't like Gilmore. This was the problem I like with Gilmore. Let me say this right here, then I get my other quick point. I didn't like Gilmore even back when we even talking about him and Tristan Hill.
Right.
I like Tristan Hill better because Gilmore was what I call a shoulder player. He allows people to get to. He doesn't extend. He doesn't get his hands off. He don't get separation with his hands, which makes him get people. When people get on his shoulders, that makes him stuck to blocks, and he's easy to turn. That's what I didn't like about Gilmore, because he did play with his hands. And the reason I like Carlos Washington and Tristan Hill better, because they were our hands players. They got extension. They use their hands to keep people off their body.
Yeah,
that's the only reason. So, but the last thing I want to do, and this is go out to the Eagles fan and the media.
Right.
It is crazy to me, Law, that 2 years ago the Eagles was 10-7 and barely made the playoffs. Got in the playoffs and got blown out by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mm-hmm. They made one big trade in the offseason. And the 4-letter, the 3-letter network, and everybody acclaimed them to being the greatest, over top of us, because we lost Mark Cooper. They were the best in the league.
Yeah.
We this year, coming off a 12-5 season, only losing on the 7 points to a game on the road in the playoffs, made 2 good acquisitions and trades. The Eagles lose about 7. They have lost 7 to 8 starters. 1 offensive lineman, 2 linebackers, 2 safeties, 1 defensive line, and 1 running back already in free agency. Starters. And they still say that the Eagles are a better team and going to win the division.
Man.
I cannot understand. If that doesn't tell you that the media is biased against the Cowboys, nothing else will tell you that.
Man.
Any team that loses 2 coordinators and 7 starters cannot be a favorite to win any division.
Preach, Coach.
That's impossible.
That's a good point right there. I appreciate you, Coach Ma. Hey, I was only talking about you in love about your voice, though. You know what I mean?
I know that, Law. I mean, yeah, you're right, man. I mean, you know, we good, Law. We good. You know, like I told you the other day, man, I would never catfish. You know, I see you, so you can bet your $1 on it, brother.
Just let me know. Just when you send me, put an asterisk by it and say that I can go ahead and go with it then next time, because I'll go with it. Okay, I'll go live.
I didn't say that. Yeah.
But then again, man, in the spirit of what you sent, you didn't. You know, we're not cloud chasers, so I would prefer someone else to go leak that news out first, anyhow. But I know now.
That's right.
When
that's
you
right.
send
and
me,
that was I was just letting you know up front. So you may not release it, but you will just have that inside where you did your other stuff, that you can formulate your other stuff knowing what you know.
Yes,
so sometimes it's not. Sometimes we don't release everything, but sometimes we need to know. So when we do other stories, we already know what we know, and then we can lead into other stuff.
Now, Coach. Now, you did say about 3 weeks ago about Deforest Buckner. Now, do you know anybody on that side?
No, I just saw that. Listen, let me tell you how very quick how I found that out.
Right.
I saw an article maybe 3 weeks ago that the Browns needed D tackle help, and they made some contact because they were thinking that the coach was trying to sign a quarterback, and they were going to rebuild, and they were trying to get Deforest Buckner, and they talked about he was on his last year of his contract, and then when the Gilmore thing came up, I was like, yes, they're trying to unload. And that they don't need to keep a guy like that for what? He's on the last. They're gonna not resign him.
Right.
They're gonna try to unload. So he's there for the picking. But at this particular point in time, like D Hopkins, people are not gonna trade for D Hopkins right now.
No.
His value is not dropping as a player. But everybody knows after all this, you're not gonna keep him at the beginning of the season. You can't. You're gonna shop him around. You're gonna talk about it. So what you gonna do? Eventually, you're gonna release him, and then you can sign for the contract you want.
And Coach, here's another thing. You're speaking of the Eagles, and I know some Eagles fans like, yes, I get a chance to hear some Eagles stuff. That A.J. Brown thing wasn't made until the day of the draft, right?
Right.
So
and they was unloaded. They was really unloaded, and they jumped in because you know something, Law. Most times when stuff like that happens, they already was trying to get that person one time before.
Oh, facts. So y'all be sure there could be draft day trades, or there could be some draft day movement from the Cowboys on people that they, kind of on the fringe with or what have you. There's going to be some more movement. I think that they are showing a sense of urgency this year, but they're playing it cautions. They're playing it with caution, and I can't wait, man. This season is already phenomenal, man. I appreciate
you got to use the draft now.
Right.
When you make these type of moves and you sign all these 1 year contract, Law. Really, we are all in this year because the amount of 1 year contracts and stuff. So we really all in because it's going to cost a lot of money to replace all these 1 year contracts.
Right.
So now the Cowboys have put their stuff into place where they're great drafters.
Yeah.
This draft, you need those picks now because you need to fortify yourself because once this year is over, you want to have sustained success. Yeah. So they did their stuff. They got their players. That's why you got a good young team. Now you just got to go out here, and the grass will tell. You just got to make plays and get the job done. That's all it is.
No doubt, man. That's Coach Marv, y'all, man. Appreciate you, Coach.
All right, brother.
That's a good call from him, man. That's a real good call from him. All right, so Dante Fowler contract details just came through. $4.2 million. $4.2 million. I said $4.2 million. $4.2 million is Dante Fowler contract with $1 million base salary and $1 million bonus. So he can, and an active roster bonus of $500,000. So he got a lot of incentives, and he only counts $3 million against the cap. So those numbers just came through for Fowler. Shout out to Fowler. As a matter of fact, let me reshare Todd Archer with the money, and that's always good to know, y'all. The 1 year contracts, it's always a good thing because it's similar to the Cowboys saying, "Hey, we got you for a 1 year deal. We can now pivot and we can trade you up to the trade deadline, or you can play lights out and we can read this thing up." So that's what's going on with Malik Hooker right now, J-Rock right now, as well as Dorrance Armstrong. All three of those boys technically could be trade bait. Technically Jordan Lewis, but who they can cut money and save money, right? With him, because all of his guarantees is pretty much gone. But now you look at it like who can be draft day trade baits, or the day after the draft, or could be in the possibility that if you no longer like them, you can get something back in return, or you can just keep them. Those are good problems to have. I got Dr. Q. You're live.
Hey, what's going on, brother La?
Not much, man.
Good, man. Boy, you had me in tears, man. You had me in tears early with the voice. But, hey, man, I just wanted to make a couple comments. So, Coach Marv and MJ, man, both of them were speaking facts, man. Coach said a couple things that I was going to allude to, and MJ said a thing, man, that I've been thinking the whole time. Some of our delusional fans, man, you want to get rid of the coach who just tipped this team 12-5 2 years in a row with basically one wide receiver. Because
technically,
we already know that my man Gallup had the ACO, so he had the actual surgery. So you really can't count him in as a /1-2 as of last year.
Yeah,
but,
in a short week too, by the way. Yeah, coming off of a short week.
Exactly, man. Like I told you, it takes about 2 years for the recovery, right? So I think, like Coach was saying, man, these picks, they need. I just want them to use them wisely coming up. And my thing is, I'm going D tackle, and I'm going corner in that order, D tackle and corner. Now, what I don't want to see them do, if they decide they're going to do this Hankins thing, I don't want them to hold that up until week 4 to decide we're going to get him. Make it happen now. If you're going to get him, ink him now. Do what you need to do to ink him, or you better be ready to pick somebody that you at that 26 as DT that you know that can make a difference, man. Give you some dog there. Yeah. Last thing, bro, I want to comment. I'm going to go off track a little bit, man. I tried to catch you a couple days ago, man, when you were talking about the areas in Dallas. You know, I'm from Texas, and so San Antonio, by the way. And so I know I'm a retired military, so I've been around pretty much every city in the U.S.
Right.
And I'm going to ask you what you say, those spots. Texas is the most dangerous spots. You know why? Because we have the Mexican mafia there, and we have the Mexican cartel there that runs through Texas. I know boys calling in from the Midwest, Chicago. Look, Chicago ain't doing all them young brothers doing up in that area is killing each other over packing Newports and something else. Mexican mafia and the cartel, they kill everybody. So that's why Texas is the most dangerous place. I'm not glorifying it.
Right.
I just know. I've been all over, and I get your point on Dallas, but, man, the whole Texas, man, is rough because of that.
Yeah, hey, people fail to realize the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's a true story.
Man, look. There's only and as far as the other cities, the 3 worst spots that I've been to, and I've been all over. BMC, Baltimore. Be more careful. That's why they call it BMC. Baltimore, Detroit, Memphis. In that order. I'm not gonna say I know Chicago got the thing, but that's isolated. Isolated. Man, these folks are killing all over them cities, man.
Right, everywhere.
Killing all over the cities, bro.
Yes,
that's
indeed.
what I'm saying.
Appreciate you.
But, bro, okay, man, I appreciate it, man.
Yes, indeed. Hey, he don't have to worry about it. He in the islands now, though, y'all. Dr. Q's in the islands over there. He don't have to worry about it. But, yeah, he right, man. Shoot, Texas got his own set of rules. And I like Texas. I've grown to like Texas. They don't pull you over any petty stuff. They don't. Like when you driving through Texas, I had to learn the hard way. I said, okay, 60, 65. Everybody passing by me, F you too slow. You know, I'm like, well, how these people, everybody drive fast. I had to learn because in Mississippi, you better go that speed limit. Through Louisiana, you better go that speed limit. But in Texas, people got places to go, people to see, and things to do. So 70 means go 80. 80 means go 90, 100. You know what I'm saying? They don't pull you over for speeding that much. That's why Sam Williams, they didn't really care that he was going fast. He just ran into something, right? So they want you to speed in Texas. Y'all let me know if I'm wrong. You know, shoot. Now, during school hours, during the school district, when those little lights flashing, you better go 20 to 25 where they say. But outside of that, man, shoot, when them lights ain't flashing, you better go 45, 50. Police officer might pull you over for going too slow. Hey, woo, woo, hey, what you pulling me over, officer, for? Hey, man, what's wrong with you, man? Why you going slow? Drive. Y'all let me know if I'm wrong, man. You don't get speeding tickets out here. No, you don't get that. You don't. Hey, man, from the 682, you live.
Yo, what up, Law?
Nothing much, man.
You know, Jerry, he speeds all around Dallas. You know why?
Why is that?
He tells the officer, I ain't getting any younger.
I got to go, yeah.
50 miles over the limit.
Yeah.
He's driving 100 around.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't getting no younger. But, yeah, I was going to say on all these moves we're making, I can't really give Jerry and Steven credit.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit, but all the moves we're making is from Mike McCarthy.
Okay.
Because now that you see we're getting rid of a lot of coaches, and now we're making even more moves in free agent than we were with Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
When you think about the big picture, I mean, we're really getting some pretty, I'd say pretty good elite players. You know, and I'm thinking he's kind of talking with Dan Quinn a lot. That's why we were able to bring in, you know, Gilmore. But I would kind of like to see, like what Coach Marv hit on and a few other people about trying to get like a nose tackle.
Yeah.
Try and stop that run.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. That's our only weakness on defense. Because we already solidified our cornerback.
We did, yeah.
But as far as our offense, we do need help because we're going to be replacing Tyron Smith soon. And I think we actually need to get one more wide receiver.
You talking about via draft or free agency or trade?
You know, I would say probably in the draft.
Okay.
We're probably going to try to go running back if we can't get Robinson. And if Gibbs is around, I would kind of trade back if you're able to get him and get an extra pick in the second.
I mean, that philosophy will probably work, but since the NFL is a money grab and they want to have all of the ratings and news for that day one, and Cowboys, I think they're going to want a piece of that too. So they're gonna probably draft day one because they split it. Normally in the older days, day one would be first and second round, but I think that the Cowboys will be dancing this year by making a pick so that everybody can talk about it. I appreciate you for calling in.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Good call from him. I agree with his points. You trade back if you see that a lot of guys' tags are touching. You trade back, get multiple picks for a day two, and that will probably work. Let me do this.
The conference has been locked.
The line is longer than Shaq feet, so I'm going to try to get to everybody that's in here. Swayze, Sports Guru, and then my guy Glenn Law. These will be the next three. But what I wanted to say here is there's nothing wrong with us collecting picks, right? But at the same time, you got how many more picks? How many picks we got this year? 7 now since we traded away a few, or is it still 9 or 8? So we got a lot of picks. We can still package up some of those picks and get somebody that can make an impact now. There's no guarantees that these draft guys going to start, in my opinion. But let me get my guy Swayze in from the 908. You're live.
What's going on, Law?
Not much, man. Not much.
Objective Cowboy fan here, just trying to give the truth. I think you posted on Instagram, like you were talking about the 40 time. You said the 40 time doesn't really matter, and I usually agree with that. I usually agree that the 40 time doesn't matter. But in this particular case, the type of offense that we want, the type of quarterback that we have, who's less accurate, I think someone that can have that can gain significant yards after catch, that has a lot of speed, that can give that can throw short yarded passes to. That's the type of wide receiver we need. That can give Dak Prescott maximum value for what we're paying him. That's just my opinion. Number two, I have to disagree with Coach Mark. Coach Mark said the Eagles only made one trade. That was the only significant transaction that they made last season. I disagree. They signed Hassan Reddick from the Arizona Cardinals, who became a second-team All-Pro and Pro Bowler this year, one of the best linebackers in the league.
Was that before? Was that before or after the draft? I forgot. I thought that they made their big movement was AJ, but before that, I think they made Zach Pascal, right? That's where the Cowboys would have stopped. We like, hey man, we got Zach Pascal. We would have stopped right there. That would have been our version of James Washington. So they went and kept moving it and pushing the envelope or the needle. I feel with what you're saying with that, but here's the difference between, and this is my only pushback on even my guy Boss Cowboy about Howie versus Jerry. You see, Howie got to make moves. If not, he's getting fired. Jerry can make these moves or not make the moves, and he stay. Or his son, he will stay. So before I start talking bad about the Eagles, I'm going to have to wait and see what they're actually going to do this year. We could be talking bad about them, and they could be back into the playoffs again. And it would just be like, so granted,
yeah, they got 2 first-round picks too, so.
And they still got 2 first-round draft picks. So I'm sitting back, I'm waiting. But I get it. Right now we can scoff and laugh at them because that's what we do. We don't like each other. We can laugh at what they've been doing, losing players or what have you. But if they fool around, lose 7 to 8 players and still make it to the playoffs, then what we'd wasted all of this energy. But go ahead.
Yeah, and also I think the first two round draft picks that we have to get a running back. We have to. Like, we have to get either Bijan Robinson or someone else in the draft. It's very important if we get someone that can run up the middle in between the tackles. I understand that we have a couple of guys who's already rostered. They trash. I'm sorry to tell you guys. I know you guys. We love every single Cowboy. They trash. We need to get someone that's elite between the tackles. That's probably going to be Bijan Robinson. If we need to trade up to get Bijan Robinson, that's what we need to do. Because offense does matter. I understand defense wins championships. Offense does win games. And those conference championships, those divisional rounds where you're going against people in the NFC, or when you're going against, let's say, the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, you're going to have to score at least 30 points. That's the way the NFL is today.
But you got to put up some money. Yeah, you got to put up some money, man. You can't just win.
Yeah, you got to put up some points. Like, I'm sorry, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think defense can, in certain possessions in the game where you need defense to make those stops, that's when those defensive guys come in handy. But the way the rules is played today, the way they call the rules, they want people to score, and that's the way the game is headed. I'm sorry, that's just today's football. So, other than that, like, that's just the way it is. We have to wait and see. I'm saying we have to wait and see in the draft. I don't want to accumulate draft picks. This is win now territory.
Yeah.
Our quarterback is 30 years old. He's not in his early 20s. We need to win now. And I don't understand why people let's accumulate draft picks and save them from down the line for next year. No, that's the Jerry Jones manipulating y'all to think like that. Road teams that want to win every year, they don't think like that. That's just my opinion. That's not a rebuild mode.
No doubt, Swayze.
That's really all I got to say.
I appreciate you for calling in, man. Salute. All right, that's from the 908. That's my guy, Swayze. All right, so I think what we were talking about on Instagram was 4.5, right? Like JSN ran a 4.5, and on the video that I was going over, let me see. I think I went over here. Go right here. As you can see, yes, he's a 4.5 guy on a 40. Nevertheless, he's not a track star. He rides up too high, and he's using the ball of the heel of his feet too much, and that's wasted movement. He's not a track athlete. He's a football player. So if you only judging JSN by his 40 time, you will be misled. This dude is quick and explosive. He's just not a track star. I see more out of his tape of a 4.3, 4.4 guy. The cut, the change of direction is just at his 40 time. You can see he's too high on the first 10 yards, first and foremost, and he's running flat-footed. I like this dude. I like the way he cut on a dime. So don't fall in love with the 40 time and just listen. You can hear the footsteps when he runs. You don't supposed to hear that. You hear that? So what y'all have to do is, what I was talking about with JSN is that, he probably ran a 4.540, right? I think at the combine he ran a 4.4 on the back end of that. So he's sub 4.5, 4.4, guy, right? And what I don't want people to say is, oh, man, the man is slow, but he got short area quickness. He can stop and get his speed up real quickly, stop on a dime. So when we think of it like 40 times, Cooper Kupp, he ran like a 4.67. Dez Bryant, he wasn't a 4.4 or 4.3 guy, right? I'm not putting him into these type of realms, but even the playmaker, I think he ran like a 4.6. Jerry Rice ran like a 4.67, 4.7. So I don't want you guys to look at 40 times and fall in love with it and say, hey, this guy ran a 4.29 or a 4.4 or a 4.3, then they're going to be good. Look, Bryce Butler ran a low 4.30s, right? Or 4.3, and nobody's banging on the table for him when he came to the league. So it's about, can the guy catch? Can he stop on a dime? Can he create separation within? And do he have short area quickness? Quickness is everything. You got to understand that if you are quick, if I'm quicker than you, and I'm trying to get to that point or that spot on the field, I'm going to get there if I'm quicker. If I'm faster, that don't mean anything. I can be faster than you, and I still can't get to that point. Why? Because I got my hands on you. I can redirect you. I can pretty much press you and get you off your route. But if I have quickness, dexterity, and I'm like, yeah, and you trying to put your hands on me and you hitting air, shoot, that's touchdown. And then when I can stop and go again, shoot. But speed do kill. And I'm not taking away from a guy that runs 4.2s or what have you, or for low 4.3s. But it's much more. Look, this is football, not track. I got a upstairs, I got a picture with all type of awards that can cover up this whole entire screen right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I was a track star. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that just because Law ran a 4.440 that I would be better than Michael Irvin, right? Or I would have been better than Jerry Rice. Well, Prime, Prime ran a 4.2 something, but that's a whole nother animal. He's an alien, But you guys get what I'm saying. So don't fall in love with the 40 time, because that will be rarely used in the NFL. Unless you're special teams, your straight line speed get down there. And, hey, that speed that we talked about with Kelvin Joseph, we see it. We see it, We see that speed, that 4.3 speed. Some said Kelvin Joseph ran a 4.2 something. We see that speed on kickoff and punt return. He the first person out there, him and CJ. They down there, But when I seen DJ Turner run that 4.27, or was it 4.28, that's cool and all, but he's DB. It'd been a different world if he was a wide receiver too, right? But I need him to be able to backpedal, come back up, hit, and a whole bunch of other stuff, not just straight line speed stuff. Yes, indeed. So I got, who was first? Sports Guru or Glenn Law? I think it was Sports Guru. 404, you live.
What's going on, Law? How's everything with you, man?
Guru, man, all is well, man. Holla at me.
Hey, man, enjoying the show as usual, man. For all the Dak haters, and I'm going to preface this by first of all saying Dak has to play better in big games.
He do.
There's no doubt, no excuses on that. But what I want them to do, everybody that's a Dak that doesn't believe in Dak, give me a Super Bowl winning quarterback that did not have a coaching advantage or a scheme advantage. And you won't find one. You can go back to Joe Montana, who he had, Bill Walsh. You can go Tom Brady, who he had, Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Everybody has had that coaching advantage. Patrick Mahomes, one of the greatest play callers and play schemers of all time, and Andy Reid. If you look at two of the touchdowns that Mahomes threw in the Super Bowl, they were scheme easy routes.
Yeah, they were scheme, man.
Dak has not had that. Dak has not had an offensive coordinator that was great in situational football. Dak has not had an offensive coordinator that notices that, hey, my guy's not having it, don't have it today. Let me give him some easy stuff to get him in rhythm. Dak hadn't had that. Dak has had to manufacture greatness all on his own.
Yeah, it's a difficult task, man.
Check the record without Dak as a starting quarterback, other than this year when they dumbed down the offense, and the offense was bottom 10 in every statistical category.
Yeah, I'm glad you put that in there because without Dak Prescott in these last 2 years, yes, the record is 5-1. So that's what people gonna argue and say. But yeah, before that time frame, it was abysmal. So I would say this, and then I'm not finna say that's anecdotal type of debates right here, using that as, hey, this guy by him being 5-1, he can be clearly a starter on the other teams, but 31 other teams passed up on Cooper Rush because 31 other people did look at the tape and they saw what was going on. Now with Dak Prescott, what people like to say is, yeah, he led the league or tied leading the league in turnovers or INTs, but they leave out the fact that the man had a broken thumb. That is major. That is flat out major. I don't know many people. I've seen, what's this guy named Russell Wilson? When he broke his thumb, he wasn't the same. And matter of fact, he ended up getting traded anyway the following year. So I would look at it like this. Dak Prescott for the 2023 season, we will see what he can do because now you got different offensive philosophy. You can take at least out the button hooks and the 4 curl routes, and that should help us out.
You can take out the predictability.
True.
And then I'm gonna add this guy. He's from your home state. Brett Favre has the most interceptions of any quarterback in NFL history.
Yeah.
Yet he's still considered a great one.
Right.
Interceptions ain't always on the quarterback. Sometimes when I know what you're doing, I'm going to sit and wait for the ball to come because you're predictable. And that's what happened on a lot of Dak interceptions.
Yes, indeed. So now, hey, the good news about this, Sports Guru, is we're not going to have that predictability of hook routes, stop routes, and option routes for the 2023 season. There will be still some with the tight end in this system, but it won't be all 4 guys running to the sticks and coming back. So hopefully we'll see a better situation for us for the 2023 season, man. I appreciate you for calling in.
No problem, man. Appreciate you, bro.
That's a good call from the 404. So yeah, man, y'all hold your judgments, man. I know. Man, Law, man, come on, man. It's 8 seasons, man. You should know what you got right now. It's been 8 years. I feel you. Or it's going into the 8th year. Technically going into the 7th year if you want to discount the injury year. I feel with what you guys are saying. But you can't build your case around anecdotal type of information. You got to use the whole imperial facts. Some people would love to just bring in the spoonful of what the ESPN and the NFL networks and Fox networks or what have you have to say. But the reality of it is that not everybody's lying. And I just had Mina Kims to say the same thing that we've been saying. Carr brother, whichever is David or Derek, said the same thing. So, yeah, I got my guy from the 202, Glenn Law, you're live.
Hey, what's good, Law? How you doing today, man?
All is well, man. I can't complain.
All right, thanks for taking the call. So, I just kind of wanted to offer my thoughts on some of the moves the Cowboys are making. I think this is really a breath of fresh air what we're seeing because, let's be honest, this has been one of the most stubborn front offices that has been leading a team in the NFL for, I don't know, the past really at least 10 to maybe past decade, probably the most stubborn. And, when you look at the moves that they've made, I think that they're a little embarrassed to see the Philadelphia Eagles have so much success because let's think about it.
True that.
This is what the 3rd iteration of a championship caliber team for the Eagles in the past 20 years, right? I mean, they had the first iteration with McNabb, and you had the second iteration with what they did in 2017, and then they're back again, and then the front office for the Cowboys has to be somewhat embarrassed, right? That how can this be? And so the fact that they're willing and open to making these outside of the box moves, in addition to changing the philosophy on offense. Remember, they've been wedded to the Air Coryell offense for 30 years. They're moving off of that. I think that's huge. I think that has to be somewhat telling that they realize that they've been wrong. They're not going to say they've been wrong, but they're kind of showing us that they've been wrong. What do you think on that?
The Air Coryell offense, it sells tickets. It's high volume passing. It's your big wide receiver that you can market on the outside, and it's your running back that can damage you in the inside to the out. So with that being said, if I'm running that style and kind of caliber of offense, I'm going to have me a big quarterback that can throw into that and can make those throws. Dak Prescott, unfortunately, never been that guy. And I can say this, even in this construct like of Air Coryell offense, not even Joe Burrow's that guy. Joe Burrows don't have a strong arm. So do Tom Brady don't have a strong arm. Those guys are West Coast offense guys. Now, the guys that can get away with it, Brett Favre's of the world, as well as Josh Allen's of the world, even Stafford, he ran their variations of that Air Coryell type of offense. But a lot of people who don't understand that type or brand of offense, they would never understand it. I can go back to even Tony Romo. Even though he fit well into that brand and caliber of offense, I think West Coast offense, Romo would have flourished.
I agree. I totally agree because his release was he had a very quick release.
Yeah
and I think with the West Coast offense, I think it favors the quick release quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The other point I wanted to make, and I'll let you go so you can get some other calls. I think one thing we have to remember about Mike McCarthy is that he came into a really, I don't want to say impossible situation, but you talk about coming into a fixed deck where he doesn't really get to just pick his own staff. He doesn't get to pick what playbook and plays. And so I think we can, if we're honest, we can say that so far he's maxed out on the wins. I mean, the roster that we had this past year against San Francisco, listen, I think if we're honest, we can admit that San Francisco had the better roster. I'm not saying we shouldn't have won. Don't get me wrong. I believe had the offense been tweaked to give Dak some easy throws, I think the game, and had Tony Pollard not gotten hurt, I think it would have been a different story because we definitely had control of that game for most of it. But I think I think the fact that overall he maxed out, and I think coming up this next year, if what he says is true, and I totally believe it, because he's had time to sit back and learn this roster. He knows it like the back of his hand.
Right.
And he also knows what Dak can do and what Dak can't do. He's not Superman, so quit giving him these ridiculously difficult throws. I always say that the level of difficulty that Dak is asked to do week in, week out, no other quarterback is asked to do that. And I'm not making excuses for him. You and I know I'm not like the biggest Dak fan, but I will admit I'm watching these games. I'm like, damn, there is no way he's going to be able to do this. That was a ridiculous throw. And so I think with the offense tweaked, if we can get a tight end, by the way, that's a whole other issue. I think you're going to see a more efficient offense. I think you're going to see chains being moved and ball of possession being more in our favor. So I'm really optimistic. Thanks for taking the call, and I'll continue to listen.
No doubt, man. It's a good call from Glenn Law. Brought up some very, very solid points, man. Objectively, too, speaking with his analysis, like, hey, Dak, there were some throws like, hey, man, what the hell? Some of the play calling, like, hey, what the hell? Two plays that I can say even in the Niners game. Those plays by the first one, Gallup, no point of doing a hitch or come back to the ball. Wide receiver seeing that, hey, on that particular play, the DB is playing off, slant it. Just slant it. That's what Gallup does. Throw the ball to him on a slant. He catch it and move. Even Ezekiel Elliott would have probably had time to get in front of him, and you get a first down that way. Even my guy CeeDee Lamb on that interception. Slant it, right? Don't have him to run right there, stop his feet, cut back, and now all of a sudden Fred Warner can cross his face and be an interception. Now, could Dak Prescott ran on the second one? Hell yeah. 2nd and 2, empty. Everybody, mama, uncle, cousin knew that the Cowboys were going to throw, and you are in your side of the 20? Shoo. The great Bill Parcells said, hey, more negative things can happen to you when you throw the ball. So, look, football is simple but yet complex. It's just like playing spades. You're not going to get if you're playing deuces wild, you're not going to get the joker all the time, nor deuce. But you win the game by knowing how to leverage it. Sometimes you're playing spades, you may not have a spade in your deck, but you can still know how to maneuver that thing to still get you 2 to 3 books. And if you have a lot of spades in there, sometimes you know how to tip off your partner and say, hey, I'm leading off with spades. And when I lead off with him, you know what I got. Baby. It's like playing poker. You got to be able to have your face. There are people that lose many and millions of dollars or thousands of dollars with a good hand. Because the person across the way, he got that face straight, knowing that he got a hard, ugly hand. But ugly but deadly. And when you don't have that capability, you will be the first one in and the first one out. You'll be one and done. But man, when you have extreme confidence and you got the experience, it don't matter who shuffles the deck. You gonna make it work. And that is what football collectively is about. It's just like dominoes. I got bad hand. You hear people all the time, I got bad hand. Some people take that bad hand, baby, and wear you out. Spots and dot that thing all the way up. And some people got good hand and will say, hey, it's terrible. I can't do nothing with it. And blame the hand. All right, from the 210, Sam, you in?
Yeah, hey, Law. How you doing, bro? You got me?
Yeah. You live. You live like 95, man. Talk to me, man.
Look here, Law. I'm gonna tell you something, bro. I do like Dak.
Right.
And I want to say this. Dak can get you a Super Bowl victory. But you have to go ahead and do this. Dak will thrive best when you bring his attempt, give him a dominant run game. He will revert back to that efficient quarterback.
Yep.
I mean, bring down his number of attempts. It will increase his efficiency, and thereby his confidence level will be higher. And on top of that, at the end of the game, when you take a little bit off his plate throughout the game, towards the end of the game, when you need him to step up, he'll rise to the occasion. He has that in his DNA.
Right.
So I'm going to give him credit for that. But the thing is, what they were trying to do, I felt like they made him play with one hand tied behind his back throughout the majority of the season, not to mention the fact that he had an injury, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Now, you got to go ahead and you give Dak a dominant run game. And don't be afraid to be a run-first team. You can still have a great quarterback and everything else. Dak can play great if you give him that. Give him that dominant run game, good offensive line. He needs other partners, just like other quarterbacks do. There are very few quarterbacks in the league that can play with a deficient roster and clean up and make up for a deficient roster.
Yeah.
He saw one. He just won a Super Bowl. There aren't very many people. He's a generational quarterback, and we're not saying Dak is that. He's definitely
right. I think that people get fixated on the quarterback, and they lose everything. They lose the ground that they're standing on. They listen to the 4-ladder, 3-ladder network. What year did Brad Johnson win the Super Bowl? It was many years ago, right? But he won one, right?
2002, I think it was.
Right. So in 01 or the start of that year, 2002, did the Bucs say, "Oh man, it's over with, man. We ain't gonna have a chance because of Brad Johnson. We don't have a chance, right?" No,
Right.
they played it and they knew that, hey, it takes a team to win. But what Cowboy fans tend to do is in that year, they would probably say, oh, man, we can't win it with Brad. They start believing it, and then they'll manifest it, and we speak life to power or life to truth. Everything that was ever done on this dimension was spoken. There was somebody that thought to themselves and said, you know what? I want to make a chair with a star on it and make a gaming chair out of it. That person's a millionaire somewhere. And I'm sitting in the chair. You know what I'm saying? But somebody thought about it, and they did it. They didn't say, well, the Cowboys not winning. They haven't won since 95. Let me not make the chair. No, they made the chair, and they're getting paid money. So it's the same thing and the same philosophy about this particular team, that every year you got a chance. It was a year and a chance for Joe Flacco. It was a year and a chance for Eli. You know, Eli Manning came in here in 2007. There should have been no chance for him to win. But they beat the brakes off the Cowboys, technically, mentally, you know. So that's what I'm trying to tell people and fans, that every year, man, you got a chance.
Facts. And I was going to say one last thing that you mentioned it earlier. I don't know if you remember a couple weeks ago when I called in and I talked to you.
Right.
Specifically mentioned DeForest Buckner. I like the acquisitions that the Cowboys have made, bringing in Stephon Gilmore and, of course, bringing in Brandin Cooks.
Right.
Then don't just go ahead and be a little bit pregnant. Swallow the way in. I mean, that guy right there is a difference maker. You need a catalytic player up the middle of your defense that's going to garner the type of attention that's going to allow your best player to really, you want to see a Lawrence Taylor-esque player and Michael Parsons being some of his best.
Yeah.
Give him the interior presence like that on the inside of the defense where the quarterback is unable to step up.
No doubt.
And I would like to see that, put him in there, acquire DeForest Buckner, and then sign. I believe you can sign on a cheap Calais Campbell. You got a 6'8" kid Calais Campbell with length, coupled with a 6'7" DeForest Buckner. You got a transcendent defense to go along with that. Give him back a run game, and then you got a Super Bowl waiting to happen.
No doubt, Sam, man. You right on the money, man. I appreciate you for calling in.
For sure, fam. Take care, sir.
No doubt, man. You know, look, when I'm going into fighting, I ain't going to leave the gun and the knife on the table, especially when I got a chance to pick it up. I'm picking up the gun and knife. Hey, man, Law, you don't need the knife. You got the gun. Bull sugar, I'm picking up both of them. I'm finna go to war. And a third of you guys say, hey, man, leave the knife on the table, man. You got the gun. No, there's been times that I need to use the machete. And there'll be times I need to use the gun. And the Cowboys will only look at it like, hey, we got the gun. We don't need the knife. Or we got the knife and we don't need the gun. No, man, bring all you can handle and all you can carry. You know what I'm saying? And you may have to drop some, but if it's between a butter knife and a machete, drop the butter knife. And that's the draft. The draft, you can get those butter knives out of there. Don't shank me with it, though, right? But sure, it's going to take me time to sharpen that butter knife up in order for it to be a dagger. So I'm trying to let people know, if you are trying to win then go ahead and do those things. And that's what I'm saying. All right, I got Big Pimpin' Man from the 281. You're live, Chief. Holla at me.
Thank you for accepting my call, Law. I'm glad to hear your voice and everything. But, hey, I'm just, like, to the point where if we're going to do the little moves that we doing or the moves that we doing, then we need to go all the way in. I don't see nothing wrong with us going to go get Hopkins.
Right.
I don't see nothing wrong with us going to go get Ragnar. Make everything to legit to where we won't have no weaknesses. So like you say, so when we do go into the draft, we can pick the best person. We don't have to pick needs. Like the other day, I keep hearing y'all say, oh, we need a running back, or we need this, or we need that. I understand that. But we can have, you remember like back in the day, what was it, the Rams? You know, they had the greatest show on, what, turf?
Turf, yep.
Yeah, so add Hopkins with Gallup, add Hopkins with CD, add Hopkins with Cook Well, and then when you got Pollard as the running back, and then we can go on and go get that big tight end from Georgia. That'd be offense, man. That'd be offense.
Hey, yeah. I heard storylines with my guy, boss, Cowboy. He said, "Yeah, man, most tight ends are horrible in the first round." I agree 1,000%. There's only about 14 to 15 first round grades. So when you're drafting at the 26th spot, that's technically a second round. And if you stand true to your board, and Darnell Washington is there, right? And he's the highest player on your board. And if you got other guys that's touching, then you can moonwalk back a little bit and accumulate more picks, or you can sit still and grab them. Just be mindful that sometimes the numbers don't reflect what's on the field, because as a tight end, it may not be production-wise, whereas you're going to get the numbers, right? But you will free it up for the outside receivers to eat, or you will free it up for the running back to do his thing. You will isolate the linebacker and the safety. So those are things that's not tangible for you to go back and say, hey, these numbers are. Law, do you have any proof to that? Jake Ferguson, last season only have 172 yards. Do you think Jake Ferguson is a horrible player? Yes or no? No. So, and do you think that even Peyton Hendershot, he only had 102 yards for the whole season? Do you qualify him as a good pickup? Yes or no?
I qualify. He's gonna be a bad man.
He's gonna be a bad man. Yeah. But their impact in games are up here because we know sometimes they may not get the ball. They may be on the field for someone else to eat. So I would never look at a tight end and say, all right, I'm just going to cancel all tight ends to the third or fourth round, because that'll be anecdotal. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to be able to look at it and say, I'm only going to cancel these guys out because the tendencies are not great because of the numbers. 9 times out of 10, it could be for the simple fact that they are freeing up other guys. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. But he good on his points, though. You know, I get what he's saying. But if you got a guy that you trust and you believe in your board, then you go with your guy that you got on your board.
Right, but I just see it like this. Okay, we already know that the AFC is high scoring on that league, right? Okay, so we're going to have to put up enough points, because I already see us going to the Super Bowl. Okay, so we're going to have to put up enough points, because we know Kansas City can score. We know Cincinnati can score. We know Buffalo can score.
Right.
So we know that we're going to have to match them.
Right.
We're going to have to match them points. So we're going to have to put up enough offense that we know that we can be able to go out there and outscore people.
True.
We're going to have to outscore people.
You might have to.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And your defense may have to stop people too. So it's a give or take league, man. I appreciate you for calling in.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, big pimping, y'all, from the 281, man. That's a good call from him. Press says, appreciate you, Press. Thank you for your super chat. And if I leave out or left out anybody's super chat, let me know. A lot of people got to stop saying that it's not Dak's fault. Most of the passes that thrown, he never should have thrown at the quarterback, being the quarterback. So that's, like I said, it's a twofold situation. And we've been banging on the table with this. You as a father leaving a gun and a knife on the table for your 3-year-old or 4-year-old is still a bad thing, right? It's still a horrible thing to do. And you going empty, right? And you running 4 guys out onto a pattern where everybody stop at the sticks. It's terrible. You're asking for your quarterback to run the ball every time. It's terrible. Even on plays, there's been plenty of guys who got gold jacket, who played in the league, or even analysts who broke it down and said, hey, the quarterback, yes, he's at fault, but also the coordinator is at fault as well by running these type of plays. Now, granted, there's no longer our issue and all problems. There's no longer that because Kellen Moore is gone. He is flat out gone from this team. No one can bring up, hey, man, he ran 4 curls. And to that point and to that degree, also, previous head coach that was here, he was such a brilliant coach that he don't even have a job no more in the National Football League. His name is Jason Garrett, by the way. Nor do the coordinator. I wonder if that was Dak Prescott's fault. Because what happened with Jason Garrett, as soon as he got the axe, he went over to the Giants' land, and they couldn't average true. This is true. They couldn't average over 17 points a game. So at some point, our expectations as Cowboy fans, one being that we thought that we had a guy out of Jason Garrett to coach this team to win Super Bowls, multiple. And we held on to that guy for over 9 years. And we kept blaming either the quarterback or the coach every single time. Whereas we became accustomed to being right in that spot, and we failed to realize that the issue and the problem was right in our face. But everybody look at it like, hey, no excuses, no excuses. The reality of it is that Jason Garrett is who he was, and nobody developed under that. And then we held on to his pretty much disciple to get the same result and expecting different results regardless. And that was, believe it or not, Kellen Moore. Same principle. We haven't changed a single thing since 2007. And now we have the chance to. Now we can go back and forward whether or not, because West Coast, I love the brother in his analogy, whereas Kellen Moore is more of a branch of Scott Linehan. And there's nowhere on Scott Linehan's resume as a head coach or offensive coordinator that you can go run to the bank and say, yeah, this guy was successful. And he was such a successful one that he's out of the league. He can't find a job. And about 3 to 4 years from now, Kellen Moore may just be the same. Unless Herb can really show up the loose ends with that. And we'll be looking at it real closely. Now, granted, Kellen Moore do have a chance to learn and develop from there. But damn, don't it feel bad that his first 4 years we had to go through it with him, you know? So that's just what it is. Yeah, football is a team sport. It is. Illmatic, man, from the 706, you in the mix, man. Talk to me.
Hey, what's going on, Law?
Not much, man.
Hey, it's been a minute since I called in. You know, I always have fun listening to Brandon, rail about Dak, hating on his own quarterback. And,
yeah.
Listening to Coach give them long analysis and, just listening to other people, call in. But, I want to call today about, I think one thing that we got to do as Cowboys fans, we got to stop throwing out the baby with the bathwater. And what I mean by that is we're already canceling Jalen Tolbert because of one penalty from last year.
Okay,
we don't even know what we got with this kid. But if you look at his college highlights, the kid was phenomenal. But we don't know what we got with him because we haven't seen him. He hadn't had a chance to show us anything yet.
Yeah.
So I think, you pair him up with Dak in this offseason, let him get a little confidence on himself, and let's see what we got in him. That doesn't mean we don't go out and make other acquisitions, but we don't get rid of him. Come on, man. He's, third-round pick? And he's only been in the league for a year. And people literally expected this kid to step in and be the replacement for the veteran Amari Cooper.
Yeah, it was kind of
a top 15 receiver from last year.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That was way too much pressure on that young man.
It was a lot, man, with all of those options, man, Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, especially coming from South Alabama. I mean, he hadn't played in that big competition yet. So now he's in the big leagues. Mm-hmm. He got a year on this belt, and as well as I do, every receiver that comes out does not prosper in their first year.
No, they don't.
So now, under the tutelage of Mike McCarthy, I think this kid got a chance.
Yep.
And flipping it over to the defensive side, I would say let's not throw away Deshaun Wright or Kelvin Joseph. I mean, we hired, we basically hired Gilmore because he's a one-year assassin.
He is.
So I think that Calvin Joseph's got a lot of good technique about it, but he bites too easily, and I think that can be corrected.
Yeah.
Deshaun Wright, he a little slow.
Well, here's the thing, though, and we just go back to boxing. Discipline will out-whoop technique any day, right? Even in boxing. If you're undisciplined and you drop those guards, right, and you don't protect your head, you know what I'm saying? And somebody busts all and trickling bloods everywhere, and now you can't see and you lost the match. You got to be disciplined. You got to know that. Kelvin Joseph, even though we were saying this on the Final Word, he'd probably be your most athletic DB out there. But the undisciplined, and then some of the technique you're going to have to polish up a little bit because he relies on his athleticism a little too much. But he's going to have to slow down a little bit and allow things to come to him. And this season, he don't have a long longitude and latitude because that rope is real thin. It's going to be real thin and short.
Absolutely. This should be his last opportunity, but at least give him this, his third season? So give him this season to try to develop.
Yeah.
Give him this season to try to develop. Give Jalen Tobin a chance. Give Deshaun Wright a chance. And I'm a plug. Stephon's my little cousin. So you got my little cousin out there. So he can go ahead and help these guys become something. I mean, if they just watch, because we didn't have no veteran to teach these guys on the team. Brown out there struggling. So you don't really want to pick up his technique.
Yeah.
So now you got a veteran, a proven Pro Bowl veteran out there.
Yeah.
Let's go get it, man. I mean, I think we're in a good position with these kids. Semi Fehoko, I think he's a lost cause pretty much.
Yeah.
They don't even know if they want him to be a tight end or a receiver. So
well, 6'3", 4'3" guy. I think that Mike McCarthy had a plan that he wanted to do with him, but the installing and the calling came from a whole nother angle. So I'm looking at it like this. It's put up or shut up time for him, right? And like you said, even with your cousin Gilly, here's the thing. He like you said, he's an assassin. He's a mercenary right now. He's going to get out there and train these guys. And I think that the person is going to gravitate to him and listen to everything that he's going to say clearly is Izzy, right? Same school, School. Yeah. When Jimmy Smith came back to speak at Jackson State, we listened, right? He went to, and I'm JSU alum, so we listened when the greats come back. Lindsey Hunter, when he came to go speak, we listened because he was a guy that went to our school, made it, make millions or what have you. So now we're listening to those guys, and hopefully, if Izzy wanted to transition back to DB or cornerback, then hey, Gilly, teach me a few things, man. I followed you while I was in college, right? And I believe I'm the best dog out here. So it can go so many ways when you bring in experiences. But when you don't have experiences, like people just watching right now, they can't show me this house that I'm in right now. They don't know where the bedroom at. They don't know where the upstairs room at. They don't know where the game room at. They don't know how to get to the kitchen or the bathroom. So they're going to have to rely on someone that been here before, and that's me. Right? I got the experience. They don't. Right. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, Lauren, come on, man. These veterans, they get hurt.
They do.
So if these veterans get hurt, you don't want to be going out here hiring another raggedy veteran like we had to do last year. Exactly. You want to be bringing these young guys along. Yeah. Everybody's not a DeRon Bland. DeRon's just good.
Good. Yeah.
He got everything. He got the technique. He got it all. But
physicality.
I mean, we need somebody to step in.
Yeah.
We need somebody to be able to step in at a moment's notice. And last point I wanted to make, Law, was, your man Sam was on point, about that. And I think, Dak was a 4th round pick for a reason. I think that he's been a very, very productive quarterback for us. And he's, he set our expectations so high that when he does something wrong, everybody's so disappointed. But he's actually a really good quarterback, and we can win with that.
Yeah.
But you got to give him the pieces. That's all. I mean, give him the pieces and let him cook, because he can cook.
Give him the pieces, man.
That's all I got, Law.
Hey, appreciate you, Illmatic, man. Continue to do your thing. Hey, you going to be out there at training camp?
Nah, brother, I can't afford that, man.
Well, I feel you, though. All right, bro, salute. As the Illmatic man from the 706, man, been following the channel for a while, and I love his insights from an analogy point and from wisdom and understanding. You could tell that brother been around some football camps and things like that. So with that being said, y'all, look, let's not act like we're not 1 or 2 pieces away, right? And you got to play the cards right. Dak Prescott, we're not making excuses for him, but he is the guy that everybody's going to point at and look at right now. Yes, at the end of the day, heavy is the crown. And just as well as people credit him when we win, be sure when you lose, they're going to be like, hey, that 4, he the one the reason why they lost, right? Just like the last 2 playoff games we actually lost. 4 needed to play better. He needed to put us in better spots and positions. But when you have peer-to-peer coaching, it's going to be like that. But when you have the ability to hold people accountable and set things straight, and say, hey, chop your feet, man, get the first down. Hey, I designed this play right here for this to happen. And when you see this, I want you to take that, right? I like hear Sky in the morning time. He was talking about West Coast principles. Check down or touchdown, right? Touchdown or check down. Most quarterback reads high to low. That's how they teach you from grade school. Like from middle school on up, read your high to low, right? Have your checks in priority. Have your leak out. Have your hots, your readies, your reads. Let it go. Let it rip. Don't be afraid to squeeze the ball there. Principles. We're doing this play to set up that play. We need to be able to reinstall those things, ladies and gentlemen. Those levels of football been voided for many of years here in Dallas. Not many games we walked in boldly and said just by coach alone we're going to win this game. It don't matter if they put me out there as quarterback, you know. But other teams boldly were able to say that. And granted, we can see some improvements even with Big Mike. Now, shout out to Darius, who was like the first caller, the second caller. He said, hey, I don't really believe in Big Mike like that. I need to see the results. And that's all what we holding against him. And that's true. That's factual. We need to hold that man accountable. But let's not be so gone and can't see the forest because of the tree. Meaning that, hey, what we did last season wasn't done in 30 years. Winning the playoff game on the road. There's never been a quarterback in silver and blue to beat Tom Brady until last year. But the man was 45. Right? That's what they say. But any other year, it was cool when he was 43, right? You know, it was bad when he was 45 when he beat us, you know, when we beat him. Right? Earlier that year, it was bad. You know what I'm saying? We lost to him, but it's cool when we beat him. You know, it wasn't that cool when we beat him. Yeah, I feel y'all. But that is a prime example of how the National Football League like to water down what we do. They would like to take away the things that we do great at and say it's nothing. The accomplishments that Mike McCarthy had to do. And I promise you, the man had no one really in his corner but Dan Quinn. He had the guy that was plotting against him in the building. Law, do you have any truth to that? Yeah. If I say that I don't like a certain thing and all of a sudden I see said things that I don't like, then hey, they sacking my judgment and my acumen of what I do. Those are facts. I'm not making this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. But neither here nor there. There will be a third of the people that will look at this and say, hey, man, these are all bevies of excuses, results. This is what we're looking for. right? But, in the words of Pac, I ain't mad at you. You know what I'm saying? I feel you. I'm not.
I ain't mad at you.
I ain't mad at you.
I ain't mad at you.
And if you're watching all the way to this point and you haven't hit that like button or shared this content to your friends out there and you're not part of the movement, come on, man. What you doing with yourself? Hit that subscribe button, share this thing. Let's continue to grind to grow. Coach Marv says, if the Cowboys are saying T. Smith will be the swing, that's Tyron Smith, right? That means two things. Still may not be ready this start of the year. Tackles or guard at 26 is a must. DeJuan Jones, baby. With the 26th pick of the NFL 2023 draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Ohio State DeJuan Jones. And sing it. Sing it out loud, yo. Sing it, baby.
I ain't
mad at you. I ain't mad at you. Come on, y'all. But here's the thing, though. I know Tyron Smith, he ain't going to fold up like a wallet. He going to fight for every little thing. So if you think that he's going to lay down like Family Guy, no, he's going to fight for it. He going to work day and night for it. So my boy, Tyler Smith, better be ready. Better bring his lunch pail. Because it's going to be a long off season. There's sometimes I think that, hey, Tyron Smith, why don't you settle down just a little bit? Just a little bit, dog. Come on, man. Tony Pollard did sign today. Got to put another L in that man's name, though. Put another L in it, but shout out to you. But, yeah, he did sign his deal today, and that sealed his money line. Now, the Cowboys can still work out a deal, and they can tear that thing up and say, hey, we got this deal for 2-3 years for you, etc. The running back market is very slim, razor blade slim right now, thin. Y'all can call it collusions or what have you, but it is what it is. I'm telling, if y'all kids out there want to be playing in the National Football League, be a linebacker at least, but that running back market, 3 years. And they better not use up too much in high school and college. Shoot, running backs don't last long, dog. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gonna have to figure that out, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to be a running back, gentlemen, ladies, we trying to work some things out with y'all, but y'all know how that go. All right, so be sure to hit the like button, share this content. Deforest Buckner is the guy that's wanting to be on another team. Jonas Williams, he wanted to be on another team too. I think he's a right tackle. He's a left tackle. Don't want to play right tackle for the Cincinnati, and he won out. He wanted to request a trade. And when you do that, you probably say to yourself, the NFL is different now. I don't think that you can now hold players hostage like you used to. I wouldn't want to have somebody on this team that don't want to be on this team, right? I want people to volunteer to want to be here. You know what I'm saying? Don't want to force anybody. The days of the old football philosophy is over with. I'm looking for some dogs that want to be here. They want to go somewhere. They want to make things happen. And you get that straight out of guys that's willing to roll up their sleeves, fight, play through the echoes of the whistle. But those who's only on the team just for the money or fame, they ain't gonna really squeeze and get it out. I'm looking for some dogs, y'all. Some volunteer with pay, of course, Nobody paying for free, I'm not saying that. Cowboy Nation. Yeah. I was watching the Discovery Channel the other day. And the praying mantis, after making good love to their mate, they bite off their head. They eat them. It's a cold world, y'all. It's cold. They use that to preserve life, sacrifice. In the words of Uncle Charles, he may sing this song right here that you guys all know.
Sacrifice, don't give up the fight. Everything will be alright on any given Sunday, yeah.
So it's a sacrifice. But while I was watching that mini Animal Planet documentary on the praying mantids, they're not the top of the food chain there. So they got to get to a certain spot in order to survive. And there was this big old gecko lizard. And I ain't talking about the commercial. They love to eat praying mantids. They do. But as a decoy, they can freeze solid without moving for hours upon hours. Make money long. Song. Embarrassing. But sometimes, even at that spot, the gecko lizard can still see a slight hesitations of their movement. And they got one chamber left. They can deploy an illusion to make themselves look bigger and scare the lizard away. Sometimes the things that we see is not what they are, ladies and gentlemen, but it's a survival method. Write that down, Cowboy Nation. You see, everybody looking at the moves that we made, and they may think that we're spending big money. I like it. I used to have pros, but we're not. We're playing it the wise way. We're preserving it the wise way. And yes, we had to sacrifice a few, but baby, where we are at, we are in better spots than what we were last season. So, I want to tell you guys this. Write this down. If you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad enough that you don't get tired of it, and it makes you hold all other things tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you will gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, or plan for it, and lose all terror of your mind, if you would simply go after the thing you want, if dogged and grim and besieged and beset with the help of Almighty, guess what? You will get it. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. I really thank you all for yours. Let's get it. The name is Law Nation. Let's go.
Give me my theme music.
Damn. Damn.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Roll those credits, baby. Come on.
I just want to run it up.
Just want to run it up one time for y'all, baby.
I've been really in the field.
I just want to run it. Shout out to you, Jason. Brandin, Action Power, Zach, Frederick. Let's go. Robert Howard, Coach Mar, Verde. Let's go. Come on. Thank you. George, appreciate you. Rondo. Shout out to Rojo too. Come on.
Greens and pinks, it's all the same. I still save and roll my change. Take some losses when I play.
Charge it to the game.
I'm with L, yeah, I'm with T,
who in law?
I'm with Reverend now. I'm with Bay, yeah, I'm with J, yeah, I'm with Chuck and now.
Hey.
Still the same, not switching sides. Now it's about loyalty. You switch sides up for the bag, and that's worth more to me.
Hey.
I mix Nike with designer, I experiment. You just rock what's on the shelf, and I'm not feeling it. Search for the one, but baby girl, it's nothing real as this.
Hey.
Can't trust a soul, I keep a hammer, call it too legit. I've been really in the field, let her rush, I let her feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Haters.
Don't need emotional damage. Take it to a meal, lately, I just wanna run it up.
Come on, man.
Kinda check a song.
Hey.
Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah,
hey.
I just be off the dome. I never own no chrome. Too many foes and clones. Yeah, I be at home alone. I be in zones alone. I be on road alone. Yeah, I be really in the field.
Hey.
Let her rush, I let her feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Hey.
Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Oh, yes, indeed. I got this news just hit right now. Come on, y'all.
He answered. I talked stuff. I thought we had it. But it goes to show you who's the better team. And I'm sticking Cowboys.
You're crying.
I'm hurt. I love my Eagles. I don't believe it.
You gonna flap the hat?
Just one more time for your boy.
Let's go Birds fly, Eagles fly. Still Super Bowl champion for now.
Let me know if y'all mad at that one, baby. Hey, ho. What love with y'all, man. I had to finish with that. I'm gonna pick on y'all all year. Y'all know how this thing rock and roll. From your boy, Law Nation. Yep.
Take a drag of my cigarette. Breathe me out. Breathe you in.
Yeah.
Take a bite of my burger, baby.
Come on now, dog.
Save the last bite for
Come on, man.
you. Ooh. Don't let the street
Lights hit you.
all alone.
Come on.
You know it's dangerous to go alone. Don't let the
If I offended anyone today, charge it to my head, not my heart. I follow. Come on. Lost in translation. Appreciate you. Let's say. Let's get it. Press Hound. Let's go. Soul over it. Let's get it. And another one.
7 more and another one.
Say it again.
And another one.
Yo.
Fighting you was the one I lost. 7 wonders all in one.
All in one.
All in one. Don't let the street lights
Hit you all alone. Come on.
You know it's dangerous to go alone.
Hey.
Don't let the street lights hit you. Can I be your
Player two. I follow. Come on.
wherever you go, whatever you do?
Shout out to you, Nick. One love. I don't think Paris gonna fall that far, Suave.
Crank and fly, then forever doesn't feel that far.
Shout out to your auntie.
So far, if a paper crane can fly, then forever doesn't feel that far.
No doubt.
So
Salute
far,
Coach Mar.
so far, if a paper crane can fly, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on.
In the words of Prime Time Deion Sanders.
Give me my theme music.
Hey. Yeah. Come on. Let's go.
You have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to meet, who you're going to meet.
Want the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Until next time, DJ Law is out. Trev, let's go. One love. Salute.